Let's go, boys. Let's go. Wow, this one feels good. This one feels amazing.
How about those Devils? How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Runnin with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share it with a friend. Thank you very much. And because it feels like it's been so infrequent, I'm gonna run it back.
How about those Devils?
How about those Devils? Your New Jersey Devils coming back to the Rock after an excruciatingly painful and long road trip. And what do the boys do? Coming home, it is gut check time, taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are a very good team. Taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, a very good team on the home ice. And what do? They find a way to win in pretty much a very tightly contested playoff type game and win it in overtime by a score of 3-2. And obviously, I got to know.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? You know your boy Ace is beyond entertained. And what a thriller. What an absolute thriller. Again, not the prettiest of victories. 2 points is 2 points. Taking it from Tampa Bay, I will certainly sign up for it. What a move by Nason. I mean, wow. Win or lose, we booze, guys. Win or lose, we booze. Victory Vodka, obviously going with the Dirty Devil, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur, Dirty Devil vodka, smooth as hell. And I'm gonna pour a lot of this for the victory on ice. So I guess we'll just sink this here. Wow. Highly recommend the Dirty Devil vodka, the great Marty's vodka. If you're not aware at some point by now, I don't know how you wouldn't. You must be new to the channel because we've been drinking bottles all season long here. But available online to order. Find it at a store near you. I'll put the link in the description for that. We're going to hit that with a little splash of the seltzer here. Wow. What a win. Cheers to all my Devils fan friends. Win or lose, we booze. Victory vodka is my favorite drink after a game. And when it hits your lips. When it hits your lips after a monstrous New Jersey Devils victory, nothing quite like it. And we'll get to the game real quick because I want to celebrate with all of you and see what you guys got to say, what you're talking about after this thrilling victory. But first period, Devils finally scoring first. I mean, we've gotten some first goals, but they seem very infrequent these days. And Pally on the spot. Andre Palat out in front, deflects a Dougie shot, gives the Devils the 1-0 lead at 8-10, and I was jacked up after getting the first goal. We had so many chances before that. Posts, and I'm trying to think, was the Brat breakaway? I can't remember. My brain's all jumbled right now, but we had tons of chances throughout the game, but tons of chances before we finally broke through. Pally gets the tip, and the live was very short-lived. I was texting all my friends, and we were just talking at a commercial, and it was very short-lived, obviously. Victor Hedman, off a draw. He just fires it on net, and like I've said plenty of times before, fire a rubber at the net, and good things happen a lot, at least for other teams when they're playing us. It seems like they've scored millions of goals like this throughout the season, but Hedman throws it towards net. It hits somebody, changes directions, a little bit of a knuckle puck, kind of handcuffs Markey, and the game is tied at 1. That is how the first period ended. Devils out shooting the Lightning 14-9. Obviously, pretty indicative of what I thought was a pretty good period for the Devils, all things considered, what we've seen, over the past couple weeks. But, you sign up, you take that period and run with it. Head to the second, tied up at 1. And Jack does Jack things at 15-16. He rips one from the slot after a great defensive play. I can't downplay the defensive play he made leading to it. He sees a pass, he flies across the ice, grabs it, cuts the middle of the ice, rips it on net. It takes a little change of direction, similar to the goal against Markstrom. Touches somebody and changes a little bit there and gets past Vasilevsky. Jack, 17th, gives the Devils the 2-1 lead. That is how the second period ended. And at this juncture of the game, after 2, I was saying my prayers, and I'm like, could we just find a way to hold on and win this game 2-1 or, preferably 3-1 with an empty net at the end there. But, wow, Jacob Markstrom with another insane save. Someone said in the chat, my bad, I can't remember who, but props to whoever said this. They were like, yeah, Jacob Markstrom with another save of the year candidate. But for Markey, it's just another day at the office, en route to another Devils win. I mean, what a save. all alone in front. He stretches out there, gets it with his arm. In real time, I thought he gloved it again. But he ended up getting that shot from point. Amazing, right in front there with his arm, preserving the lead. And what a game from Markey. We'll get more to him after this. Obviously, you guys know your boy is the president of the Jacob Markstrom fan club. Cheers to Markey. But Devils head into that third period up 2-1. And another unfortunate referee-related incident. I'm not going to cry about it too much. It wasn't as dramatic as the Siegenthaler blocked clearing attempt, in my opinion, because the Devils still had chances to make good on the play. But in that third period, Jack entering the zone and tries to fire it up. It hits the ref again and leads to ridiculous chance the other way. And Kucherov's not going to miss too many of those. Kucherov in all alone, gets his 18th of the season at 8:05, ties it up at 2, and that's how the third period ends. And after regulation, I was like, a lot of people I feel like are in a defeatist mentality. I got a couple texts that were like, actually even before the third period ended, in the third period, like, oh, we just need the point. And I'm like, fuck the point. I'm not looking for silver linings anymore. Obviously, you want the point over 0 points, but I would have been furious with the point. I was like, we need a win. We need to absolutely win this thing. And we get to overtime. Captain Nico, the sure-handed, just beautiful face-off wizard, wins the face-off. Couple chances for the Devils, can't get one. Jack draws that amazing penalty there, getting tripped up. And I loved to see the usage of the timeout. As soon as it got called, I immediately was like, please call timeout and just rest these guys and leave them out there. I don't care. A lot of people were like, oh, they'd rather have the defense tired versus your forwards tired. That's like a kind of I don't know. I feel like a train of thought commonly held amongst a bunch of people. I'm like, screw that. I rather go my rested guys versus your rested guys in that scenario versus tired versus tired. Love the timeout by Keefe. And then obviously love the cojones when he's like, you know what? In this scenario, I think we're going to roll out with 4 forwards. And what a selection for the 4th forward by General Sheldon Keefe. He's like, let's get Stefan Nason out there. Let's see what the junkyard dog could do in overtime. Let's see if he's a difference maker. Devils buzzing on the power play. And at this point, I'm not going to lie. If they didn't end the game on the 4-on-3, I would have smashed something. Because with the guys we have, given, everything we've been through the past couple weeks, you absolutely must convert on a 4-on-3. That's like unforgivable sin. You cannot let that get killed. That must end the game. And sure enough, off of a broken play, I'm all tongue-tied here. I can't forget that leading up to this beautiful goal, we saw an absolute tip drill session by Stefan Nason. I think he had 2 or 3, like decent chances. Vasilevsky keeping the Lightning in there, keeping the puck out. Nason just tipping him on net. And then finally, off of a broken play, really, Jack tried to throw it across the middle. It kind of got broken up. But the junkyard dog himself, Stefan Nason, just right in his office down low. And he just turns around and he whacks that thing top shelf. Game over. Stefan Nason, the junkyard dog, his 17th of the season on the power play from Hughes and Bratt at 3:19, sends the Devils to a victory. And God, this one feels good, guys. Against a good team. It was a real gut check, and they came out on top. They did what they had to do. They got the 2 points. Again, not the prettiest of games, but a win is a win in dramatic fashion like that. Love it. It's got to hopefully be just a huge shot of adrenaline for the boys, a morale boost in the room. And what a win. I mean, wow. The crowd was treated to a real thriller tonight at the Rock. I thought about going, decided against it, but what a treat for those in attendance. A New Jersey Devils overtime win, courtesy of the junkyard dog, Stefan Nason. We look at the game stats. Lightning, 25 shots on goal. Devils, 26 shots. Lightning get a little bit better on the faceoffs, 54.4% to the Devils, 45.6%. Devils PK showed up to work tonight. Oh, yes, they did. 0 for 3 on the power play for the Lightning. 1 for 2 for the Devils, obviously tallying on that 4-on-3 in overtime. Absolutely love to see it. Lightning, 14 hits. Devils with 27 hits. Lightning, 13 block shots. Devils with 19 block shots. Lightning, 15 giveaways. Devils, 20 giveaways. Still too much. Got to cut down on the giveaways and sloppiness. We saw it again tonight, obviously, 20 of them. That's 1 every 3 minutes on average. Slop. Lightning, 5 takeaways, and the Devils with 1 takeaway. And what a beautiful, beautiful win for your New Jersey Devils, guys. Wow. Jack scores again. We get Pally on the board. Nason in overtime, Markey just being a beast again. I mean, there's so much to be thankful for after tonight. And hopefully, you know, we could just ride this momentum. We have a lot of tough games coming up. We got games against good teams. We got games against Eastern Conference foes looking to claw their way into the wild card picture. Wow. What an absolutely beautiful outing for your New Jersey Devils. I'm seeing tons of doomers out. No surprise. How can you doom after a win like this? I mean, wow. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? I'm getting to the comments here. I'm just looking at some of the ridiculousness. Some of the ridiculousness. Daniel, let's drink our booze, the kiddies. And then he names SST, Jason, James Israel, and Jay Woodson have gone Betty by. Keeping up with the Devils. A few nights ago, I told y'all Markey better than Vassy. It turns out I was right. I mean, let's not get crazy keeping up with the Devils, but he was better tonight and on the season. But Vasilevsky, obviously a elite goalie, looking to add to his what should be one day a Hall of Fame resume. Fentanyl Floyd, keep with the clutch coaching, calling the timeout and putting Nason in. Absolutely. I loved it. As soon as that whole thing went down, they got the penalty. I'm like, gotta call the timeout. And Stefan Nason. Wow. Doing Stefan Nason things. He was already leading the league, I think, with, you know, net front goals with 5 going into this one. So now he's going to be leading the league with 6, right in his office, baby. You can find him there all season long. Stefan Nason. What an acquisition by Tom Fitzgerald. Wow. Got to be the overachiever of the NHL season league-wide, in my estimation. John Woodson, this fan base, Jack is better than Gretzky. How do you spell Gretzky wrong, Woodson? Unforgivable. Gretzky's a legend. It's with a Z, dude. Come on. How does that even happen? But I don't think many of the fan base think that. I think that's a gross exaggeration. RJ says Buddy's hammered, lay off the Peronis. What's going on, Go Boro? Oh, goddamn it, we won. After a shitty run, can we just be happy tonight? Some of us can. Some of us can. Some of us will never be happy. Like my big joke is some of them will be complaining the Devils could be skating the cup at the Rock, and they would be complaining about something with the way the cup got passed. I mean, some people can never be pleased. It is what it is. Don't be one of those people. Keep it up with the Devils. Power play connects in big moments. Not always, but tonight, the power play came up when it mattered most. In the extra session, 4-on-3, Keefe calling the timeout, showing his balls like, you know what? Throw Nason out there. No D-man required. And game over. What a shot by Nason. Wow. BC, Markstrom has been unreal. I think that is a massive understatement. I mean, unreal. I mean, there's not enough superlatives for what Jacob Markstrom has been on the season, really. But when you look at now his last 3 starts, and I got so excited I forgot to mention. After the last game, I told all of you that I 1,000% would have went back to Jacob Markstrom to start this game and was not very certain, what they would do, because we know they love a good forced Jake Allen start. And they did the right thing. I was glad to see it. I would have been really pissed if Allen started. And if I'm being honest, I don't think we win this game tonight if Allen's in net. I mean, there's no way to prove that, obviously, right? It's super hypothetical. And there is a chance he could have won the game. But my gut feeling tells me if Allen's in that game tonight, we do not win. They reward Markstrom 2 brilliant performances against the Kraken and the Rangers. He stole our last 3 points, and he was massive again tonight. I mean, tons of quality saves. Preserved that 2-1 lead with the big one on point. There was a couple other pretty damn good saves. And Markey has been, all that you could have realistically hoped for and more. And more. Devs fan 125. I was at the game. Big win for the boys. That's awesome. I'm sure the arena was jumping after that goal. Jem Card, Markstrom is our best player right now. Hard to argue. And I said, I think after the last game as well, that I think he's the favorite thus far for team MVP. I mean, how can you especially now the way he's heated up as of late? He had a monster December. He was a 3rd star. I think he only lost maybe 1 game in overtime and 1 in regulation, or maybe he was like 8-1-2, whatever it was. Monster numbers in December, couple shutouts to go with that. Just great numbers. And then, that Kraken win that stopped the bleeding. And he stole the loser point against the Rangers at the Garden, and then he had another gem tonight. I mean, Markey, I'm going to say firmly now for me, as of this very moment in time on 10:37 p.m. on, what's today, the 11th? January 11th, in the moments right after this game we just witnessed, I am going Jacob Markstrom is the team MVP at the moment. Fight me if you want. RJ Connor, Markey, that dude is insane. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Some more smack talking by a bunch of you. Wow, lots of trash talking in there. Woodson, Cotter and Bashan can stop taking penalties any day now. What's going on, Nicole Lee? Beautiful win. We needed it. Felt we slowed down a bit in the third, and we're losing heart, which worried me, but they got it done. Yeah, I glossed over the fact that the start of the third period was terrible. The first half, essentially, the third period, I don't think we had. When did we get to register our first shot? It was like forever into the third period. We were just in survival mode, and it definitely looked like one of those nights where you're like, oh my god, what the hell is happening? Like, we outplayed them. I thought pretty good, a good margin. I thought we outplayed in the first 40 minutes, and then we get to the third, and Tampa comes out like gangbusters, and the ice was tilted in their favor. We were getting dominated, and again, survival mode. Bend, don't break. The New Jersey Devils bent. They did not break. Get that thing to overtime. And, wow, what a game. Go Bora, our dogs, Stefan freaking Nason. Absolutely. Absolutely. Phil McCracken, if Meyer starts pulling his weight again, you'll see less risky play from Jack. Yeah, my man Timo's going through a little bit of a thing right now. He's in a little bit of a slump, but I expect Timo time any day now. He's had so many chances as of late. It's only a matter of time before Mr. Timo Meyer finds the back of the net, and the Timo haters will go quiet again. Chico, the Devils are going to get the groove back just in time for the Four Nations face-off break. Then we got to sit through another slump, but they'll be rolling again in time for the playoffs. Hopefully, we don't see a team-wide slump. This is an extraordinarily long break in the schedule. Obviously, one that you don't see in place of the All-Star game this year. We're getting treated to the Four Nations face-off, which your boy will be at some of the games doing some vlog type stuff. And I don't know, maybe some other stuff I have in mind. I'm not really sure yet, but I'm going to do some interesting stuff surrounding around the Four Nations face-off. But let me see exactly how long. Yeah, it's a straight up 2-week break. Oof. It's going to be interesting to see how we respond. I do think it's a little different than normal breaks because we are going to have some of our top guys playing in the tournament. So Markey, obviously, I think for a 2-week break, for me, I personally would be most concerned about a goaltender going through a 2-week break. Markey is going to be playing in this tournament. He's going to be playing in Team Sweden practices with some pretty elite talent. And so I expect him to stay sharp throughout the tournament, as is the hope for Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes. 3 of your more valuable players, they're all going to be in the tournament and hopefully playing with some world-class guys from their countries, from their respective countries, and in this tournament against the other teams that there is no rust and they're kind of, maybe come back a little fired up, after the tournament. But I am super jacked to see this new look Team USA team in this tournament and would love to see him win it. And would love to see Jack be a big part of it, but it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Justin T. At Tampa Bay's first goal, I thought Mercer could have done much more to avert that goal. That's not winning hockey. I like Mercer, though. I'm never going to question Mercer's harder compete level. He blocked a monster shot. A lot of nice block shots today. Kovacevic had a pretty memorable one. Mercer had one that was a stinger. Mercer does what you got to do to win. John Woodson, the only way Jack scores is if a team let him lane to walk into the slot on the power play. Wow, there's so many doomers, guys. For all of you that aren't doomers, my God, I apologize. I'm not trying to frustrate you. This is just the reality of the internet, and especially when the internet and sports collide, you're bound to see some stuff like this. And lately, we got a lot of them. I mean, Bob Jenkins, Nico's a little bit of a power play merchant. Oh, my God. Oh, it's painful. It is absolutely painful. Traveling Devil, what's going on? Panthers lost tonight. Let that continue, please. Yeah, let's let the Panthers lose. That would be nice. RJ, also Jack has much improved plus minus. Some people are just insatiable. There's a lot of them here. I mean, it's like, it's hard for me to even, I'm wading through these comments and I'm like, my God, I feel like I'm fishing in a toilet for, something a kid dropped in there. Like, my God, well, look at all this. It's wild. It's wild. Keeping up the Devils points out, John, he scored a 5-on-5 goal today. To which he says, Jack scored because Point deflected it. There's always an excuse. There's always no matter what. Unless you win 10-0, there's going to be something to doom about. It's pretty wild. I honestly don't know how people go through life like this. I would love to know their outtakes on random shit that happens in their life. It's a scary place to be. I'm glad I am not like that. I try to have an optimistic outlook as much as possible. And after a win, I mean, wow. But I hope most of you stay positive. Cheers to my Devils fans, especially the non-doomers. And Chico says, John Woodson cares more about being right with his insane takes than the Devils or hockey at all. I'm trying to see how many minutes behind. John Woodson, his words who hurt you. Yeah, someone hurt Woodson, guys. I don't know. Captain Mafungo, what's up? The brainworms of the SST Woodson hive mind reaching mythic status. It is crazy, right? I mean, well, I guess now at this point, yeah, unless it's like a 5-0 dominant victory, anything short of that, there will be an angle for them to attempt to doom on. And tonight is Nico's a power play merchant, and Jack only scored because someone deflected it. I mean, wow. For Devil, actually, Vasi played very well. NJ could have had a few more. Yeah, I thought he played very well as well. For sure, some highlight reel saves for both of them today. Vasilevsky's a world beater, and he's a huge part of why I would never, it wouldn't be surprised me if Tampa Bay went on another cup run. I mean, they have we played them now. What, this is their third time? They're loaded. They have skill players everywhere, and Vasilevsky can steal games just like Jacob Markstrom can. When you have top level goaltending, it's the ultimate X factor, and you're never out of it. And they could steal series. So, I'm hoping Markey obviously doesn't have to make these types of saves too frequently, and he gets some easier workloads like the 12 back-to-back 12-shot shutouts against the Penguins and Rangers. I'd love to see him, coast to some wins like that, but sometimes he's going to have to come up with the wild saves. And tonight was one of those nights. Taylor, thank you, sir, or ma'am, sir or ma'am. Taylor could go either way. Yeah. Shout out to the doomers and the haters. Hi, hater. But thank you very much, Taylor. Taylor, coincidentally, one of the name of one of my favorite Jack Johnson songs, Random Tidbit. Taylor by Jack Johnson. If you're not familiar, you like Jack Johnson, you like that kind of music, check out Taylor by Jack Johnson. It's a great one. But thank you for the super chat, Taylor. Let me find my place here. Doomers is dooming hard. Kevin G says, time to break out the absinthe. I tried that once. You put it on the spoon and do a bunch of stuff. I think you put a sugar cube in it. It's been a while. But we saw it. Me and my buddy saw it in a movie, and then we had to get it. I think I smuggled it back from Canada, actually. I smuggled absinthe back from Montreal. True story. Story for another day. Traveling Devil. Hopefully the Devils realize get in front of the net and stop at the fancy play. That's how goals get scored. Yeah, I thought there was several instances where we saw the forced extra pass or two where I was just like, shoot it. I especially want Dougie to rip it more. I mean, I know that he's not going to be ripping the slappers. I do think it's something related to the pec, and we've seen more of the wrist snapshot kind of utilized from him. But I want to see him let it fly from the point towards goal way more often than we have. You saw it with Hedman. Just throw that shit towards net and hope it tips somebody. And we've seen millions of goals like that against us. We need to start getting more like that. Throw it on net. But when we do it, they all get blocked and go the other way. But yeah, I still want to see it more often than, trying to get that tic-tac-toe slam dunk play all the time. Go Boro. Can we doom if we lose in game 5 of the first round? Tonight just ain't the time. We need the good feel tonight. We've taken a battering lately, so this win feels good. The battering makes the good times feel that much better, and it's been all too long. I mean, we won that Kraken game, but two wins in 2 weeks or whatever it's been. I mean, wow. John Fay, I was at the game. I must say it was electrifying. I imagine it was. I always wish I went after the fact. when there's a finish like that. I mean, what a play by Nason, the junkyard dog. Nicole Lee, Woodson, you okay? What happened to you? Are you a fan or do you just want to be negative? John Woodson, 1 win does nothing for me, unlike you, Bobbert. I don't know how many you need, Woodson. 3 in a row get you excited again? Does 3 in a row get you excited again? Phil McCracken says Meyer needs to start showing up. He will soon. He will soon. Captain Mafungo, I would never want you blocked. Your idiocy is far too entertaining. Oh, man. Dr. Brian, wow. Marky with another stunning game. Loved the way our OT looked today. Was definitely scared since our OT stats are below average. Also, good hustle from Jack to provoke a power play. Yeah, monster cut to the outside, and the guy had no choice but to trip him up. I mean, or he could have just watched him probably sizzle to the net and end up on the highlight reel that way. But, yeah, beautiful power move from Jack to draw that penalty. And obviously, 4-on-3 in power play, you got to cash it. And the boys did. The boys absolutely did. Oh, felt so good. Felt so good against a very, very good Tampa Bay team. Alex, I think Markey so far is our MVP. I agree. He's got to be. Paul Zinski, big gut check win tonight. I had a feeling Nason would score tonight. Huge gut check. 1-4-1 in the last 6. 3 points, all stolen by Markstrom. Without Markey, we're easily 0-6 in the last 6. And the boys come home and we get a little dose of home cooking, baby. A 3-2 overtime win on the Prudential Center ice. Greg says, Devils need to ride Markey for a while. Psh, you're preaching to the choir, at least to me. I want to ride the hot hand always, and especially when it's a guy like Markey. He wants to play. He is the ultimate competitor. You see how much he wants to win, how fired up he gets when he loses. It reminds me, there was another little skirmish where Markey there was some contact, and again, we didn't do shit. I am tired of Markey getting touched. The next time someone as much as breathes on Jacob Markstrom, I want someone's eyes broken. I want their eye bone shattered into their face. Way too many teams taking liberties running Markey. I'm sure he's getting pissed. RJ, I agree. Alan Assad, but Markey is spectacular. Justin Markey saved goal, 3rd period, allowed win. Dr. Brian Siegs makes too many small mistakes, almost had a massive turnover late in the 3rd. Gamer XD, I wasn't able to watch the game, but I'm loving our team. Well, you need to watch the game because this game was beautiful. John Woodson, Siegs will be gone soon. Don't worry, they need the cap room. I wouldn't be surprised either way because, we have the kids waiting in the wings, obviously, to take his spot, and it would give us some cap relief. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just don't know if that's something Tom Fitzgerald is willing to do this season before the playoffs. And if I had to wager on it, I would think that he does not. I do not think it'd be wise to tinker with the defense at this juncture, in my opinion. Now, some people will, have a different opinion, and that's fine. But my opinion is with the D, especially what we saw, that stretch where they set that NHL record, not a big deal. I would prefer just not to tinker with the D. I think that could be dangerous. Now, is that something that they could possibly look at in the offseason with Siegenthaler? Yeah, I definitely think it could be, but I'm not expecting the D to be touched at all, barring injury, obviously, during the season. Looks like Montreal's going to do everything they can to keep Evans. If that happens, who do you go after if you're Fitz? It's still too early. You guys love talking about who to get at the trade deadline. Preferably a third line. I mean, there's a third line center would be nice. I still would fantasize. And again, I'm going to make a video about this, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I think all I'm going to say is I'm going to try to put it out either tomorrow or Monday. Now that it's not going away, and even though I don't know it's really rooted in anything other than people's kind of speculation, if you will, I do think the Taylor Hall reunion deserves a look. And look for the video. I'm going to go on a whole thing, but I think the Taylor Hall reunion at least should be investigated, and there'll be a video on that soon. Wolf Rockin' 74 Ace, if you see my first message, I sounded like you about Nason, my friend. LOL, let's go Devils. What's up, Wolf? What a game for Nason. What a game for Markey. John Fay, I agree with Markey deserves MVP, but the real MVP should be Nason with the nice OT power play goal. No, for sure. I'm just talking about team MVP. And really, Nason's in the conversation as well. There's no way you could not put him in the conversation. I wouldn't pick him. He's definitely, probably 3rd, 4th on the list. But who expected that season from him? I mean, acquired to be a physical presence, heavier, edgier, more violent, bring some depth scoring, and he's second on the team in goals. He's tied with Jack Hughes for goals. Who would have believed that? If someone said in the summer on January 11th, Stefan Nason and Jack Hughes will have the same amount of goals. I mean, your first question is, is Jack injured? And then you find out they play the same amount of games, and you're like, whoa. Either Jack went super cold or Nason got super hot. And it's more so of Nason being super hot. Doug, much needed win. The boys needed to get that one on Tampa. Absolutely. They've had our number. They've had our number this year, and we had to get one. John Woodson, Marky's on an island. He's not Marty out there winning us close, but not far from it. It's pretty damn close. Pretty damn close. Phil McCracken, first 2 periods, I definitely felt the heavier edger and more violent from the team. It was great energy. Yeah, and then that third period, we just got steamrolled. Captain Mafungo, Brian Hallonen needs a call-up. Send Bashan to Utica. I would love a Hallonen call-up. I've been calling for it for quite a while. We saw a lot of Utica guys come up with Hallonen still not getting a sniff. Obviously, Dowling's a center, so that had played a part in that. But Dowling, Bowers got a look at some point. Legary, Nolan Foote. I mean, we've seen tons of guys. It's just like, wow, I guess, it's kind of damning, I would say, on Hallonen. Like, what is the deal? Thoughts on the rest of the schedule in January? How many points we rack up? I might do a video on something like that. We'll see. I got to really look at it. They got to play. They got to play decent hockey for sure. Winning hockey for sure, and hopefully the more points the better. But January is a huge month for this team. Absolutely huge month for the team. RJ Ace, what are your thoughts on bringing Nemo back up? Pretty much copy and paste what I just said in terms of pretty much the same thought process for me regarding when someone mentioned the Siegenthaler trade is that I am not touching the defense at all. Who are you taking out for Nemo? I mean, it just does for me. It doesn't make sense. Bob Jensen, get Taves. I would love to. I just think him to Winnipeg is almost a foregone conclusion. I just don't see how he doesn't. Yeah, go borrow. More likely Taves goes back to Winnipeg, but you never know. Yeah, we'd have to have a hell of a sales pitch. Bob Jenkins, how many points from Bratt the rest of the way? What is Bratter at? 51 through 45. 51 through 45. He's got 37 games left. Wow. Let me just do some quick math on my calculator here. Yeah, that's a lot. I still want to say I believe he gets 100, but he would need 1.32 points per game for 37 games. That's a good chunk. I still think he's going to come super close. He's going to be right there knocking on the door of 100. Max, we play Florida on Tuesday at 7:30. They play in Philly on Monday at 7. Oh, look at the NHL doing the Stanley Cup Sweethearts favors at 24.5 hours between games. Only if we could be as lucky. That's pretty funny. Searle, the reality is a true contender rolling 4 lines isn't going to have every player killing it on the point sheet, but I guess Devs fans have forgotten what a contender is, or they never knew. But I agree with you, Searle. I keep saying the same thing. Like, yeah, you do want to see more depth scoring, obviously, but in the end, your big guns gotta carry the load. If you're so reliant on bottom 6 scoring, again, I want to see bottom 6 scoring too. You absolutely need it in the playoffs, but. And I believe we're going to see a couple moves, whether they're brought from the outside, they're Utica guys, whatever it is. I think you're going to see at least a tinkering in the bottom 6, if not 2. But, the big guns got to be the big guns. They get paid the big bucks for a reason. They got to really do the heavy lifting. And you're not going to have every guy light up the score sheet. That is the reality. There are role players. Again, I 1,000% agree. The bottom 6 needs to produce more goals, especially down the stretch of the season and obviously in the playoffs. But that can happen in time. And maybe they go multiple games in a row with nothing, and then they end up getting a big one in a big moment to win a game, win a playoff round. So I'm not too worried about it. Obviously, it's a little bit troubling. I do think, again, we bring somebody up and trade for somebody. Curious to see how it all shakes out. But for right now, we just got to get back to playing winning hockey. Chico, Jack could score all 10 goals in a 10-0 win, and Woodson would call Jack selfish and say he didn't block shots or something. Probably. That's probably exactly what would happen. Paulie Walnuts. Oh, man, Paulie Walnuts. I love you, Paulie Walnuts. Hey, Ace, remember in the beginning of the season how some people were complaining about Markey? Let's talk about that for a minute. Have any of these people repented? I have to maybe go back and look at comments of videos and a bunch of things for the receipts. I mean, obviously, a lot of us have the mental receipts from, the tired rhetoric of he's washed up, he's 34, he's this, he's that, and all the garbage we had to hear because these people wanted Allmark or somebody else. And so when it didn't happen, they threw tantrums and, downplayed the acquisition and smack talk Markey. And he has been everything you could have dreamed for and more. And especially in these last 3 games, definitely his greatest stretch of the season, obviously. And what more can you say? I mean, wow. I firmly believe he stole the last 3 points before tonight. That Kraken win, multiple save of the year candidates, breakaway save, just tons of amazing saves. Stole that win in Seattle. The cops over there are still looking for him. They have out the APB. They haven't been able to track him down as of yet. And the Ranger game. I mean, granted that loss sucked, but without Markey, I think we get humiliated. And another one where he was integral in the win tonight. I mean, wow. Monster game from Markey. Another one. Dr. Brian, I don't know how they do it. I was nervous watching the game. Meanwhile, they're on OT, and Jack's just all smiles and laughs to his teammates. Yeah, man. He loves overtime. He likes the big moments. Glad that this one, went entirely different than the last. The last time we saw overtime just a couple nights ago was absolutely devastating. SST, here we go. Markstrom has been terrible first 30 games. He's earning his dough last 15 games. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. Oh. Wake me up when your snooze fest narrative is over. Markey is going to be nominated for the Vezina. Jerome, Keith had a bowling ball-sized testicles for that OT move. Nace for the win. Jack just circles like a damn vulture. Let's go Devils. Yeah, he was like, oh, you know what? We're just going to load it up here. 4 offense. 4 offensive guys, 4 forwards. Let's go. Amagi, what's going on? Funniest tonight was this old man sitting next to me. Jack was headed to the net with 2 dudes right in front of him. Crowd stands up, of course. Terrible. I hate when people do that during gameplay. Woodson says 3 wins in a row would make him grin a little. Just a little bit. Searle, pretty sure these streams to act as villain are the peak of SST and John Woodson's days. It's possible. Ouroboros, that Vasilevsky really, let's see, I'm trying to decipher here. Kept them in it for TB. I hate the games when they do very well. Keep on shooting, and you can't get it in. Gem card collecting, Ace, you are the man. Cheers to you, Gem card collecting. Appreciate that. Chico, this team never learned how to win under Rupp. He developed them individually, but they never played sustainable hockey under Keefe. They're learning how to win, and that comes with inconsistency. It's a fair point. Hopefully we see more consistency going forward. Because, this last stretch has a lot of people going crazy. A lot of people going absolutely crazy, and we're now 2-4-1 in our last 7. I mean, that's brutal. Like, they really got to rattle off a nice stretch of wins. It's a terrible run. Chico, tinkering with the defense, I say don't rock the boat. That's kind of where I'm at, and I'm believing that that's going to be the approach Tom Fitzgerald and Sheldon Keefe take, but I could be wrong. But I just don't see it. It'd be a little bit surprising to me. SST, when this season leads to a major disappointment, you'll all be wondering why and remembering me and Woodson with very kind words and saying those 2 were damn right. Oh boy. Alex Russo, Kuch is absolutely on a different level for sure. Oh yeah, Kucherov is the elite of the elite. The elite of the elite. Brendan plays. Also, I got banned on Twitter for a week because I said someone shoved that ref the F away. Really? I had to make it an alt account to give my gamely Marky praise and that Nason for existing in his office. Do you get banned? I don't know. I'm not up on the rules of all these platforms and what you can and cannot get away with. Phil McCracken, I do want to see the team protecting Marky more, but I do like the fact we didn't react when we pulled penalties and dropped to the 4-on-4. Four Devils has still broken SST. Alex, I'm cringing thinking about the money on Meyer could have been used for a shot at Rantanen. Seen that dude in person, he's a giant. Again, Timo still is, how many points? I just want to know, for all the people constantly trash talking Timo, how many points did you really expect from him? I was hoping for 55 to 60 and be a bull and be a menace and be hard to play against. I mean, I think you guys are looking for 80 points and it's, not very realistic. Timo tonight, 2 shots, 2 blocks. 2 shots, 2 blocks. Okay. Max, Siegs and Kovacevic are number 5 in the league ranked as a pair. I don't think we touch Siegs. He's so much better than last year. Has been pretty solid this year. Only a few hiccups. Can't believe people. I mean, the only way I'd even consider it is if like a team was desperate and offered something crazy. But like even then, unless it was something super crazy, which I can't see happening, you can't mess with it. You can't mess with it. Daniel, thank you for the super chat, sir. I guess this is a directive for those that are tired of the dooming. Just click on their chat and block SST, Jay Snow, John Woodson, and James Israel. I know, Ace, that would interrupt your algorithm, but at least it would make the chat more Devils friendly. Listen, I'm not a censorship guy. I'll deal with idiots, and I'll pick and choose what comments I give any energy to on a specific night. I personally, for myself, have a no block policy. I'll just live with it, and they're both longtime fans. We all want to see the Devils win. A lot of you get more frustrated with the Doomers than I do. It is fairly comical to me, and I do believe a lot of the times that they actually believe the shit that they're saying, which is even scarier. But in the end, we're all Devils fans. We all want to see the team win. We all just have very different outlooks or expectations at any given time. And some of these so-called Doomers, expect perfection every single night throughout an 82-game season and into the playoffs, I'm sure. But for those of you that, want a little bit cleaner of an interface, by all means, you're welcome to block people, as Daniel has suggested here. I just don't do it. And so even if you block them, occasionally you're going to see me put some of their comments on the screen because some of them are pretty damn funny. But thank you very much for the super, Daniel. Appreciate it. And there's Daniel's block list. The comprehensive block list from Daniel: SST, Jay Snow, Woodson, and James Israel. Wow. Go Boro. Thank you for the super chat, sir. Sending some bucks to the channel. Do you have any upcoming jerseys you are thinking of getting? I mean, there's always jerseys on the mind. I have a jersey problem. A little bit of a jersey habit. The next one, no. Most of the jerseys I get, I collect game worn jerseys. So most of the jerseys I get, once in a while I'll get something random to wear. But mostly for Devils jerseys, I've explained this before. At my advanced old age, it does feel very strange to me wearing a jersey of one of these young guys. I don't know what it is, but I never really thought about it until I was like, oh, could I, just kind of like was thinking like, oh, could I ever get a so-and-so jersey? And I'm like, I don't think I can. Number one, there is something about them being so young that I find odd. I'll eventually probably get over this hurdle at some point. But the bigger reason that I only wear the old school jerseys is because if I'm going to represent your name, and by your name, I mean, a player's name. Oh, shit. I hope I didn't derail us. If I'm going to wear your name on my back, you must have hoisted the cup at least once as a New Jersey Devil. And the main jerseys I've worn my whole life are Marty and a couple different Stevens ones. And so very difficult for me to wear any current player jerseys. Okay, but I did think now The next jersey I will be getting definitively, to answer your question, Goboro, is the Team USA Four Nations Face-Off jersey. I 100% will be getting one of those. They're pretty sweet, and I'm super jacked for the tournament, and I'm going to a couple games. So I will definitely be getting a Team USA Four Nations Face-Off jersey, to answer your question. I'm trying to find my spot again. But thank you very much, Goboro. Appreciate it. Traveling Devil, we need one more Nason. Yeah, guys like him don't grow on trees, but when people say, what kind of player do I want? I'm not going to give names yet. That's, closer to the trade deadline, I'll obviously make a ton of trade deadline, hopeful, wishful, target kind of things as that comes up. But it's so early for me that, a lot of people are panicking. I'm nowhere near panicking yet in terms of making a trade. And so I'm not going to do any videos until closer to the deadline. But a guy in the mold of Nason for sure. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Big guys that use their body, play a playoff type game all the time, get to the net, get dirty. Nason is that guy, the junkyard dog, and you can't have enough of them. You can't have enough of them, and I would have another one. Prezify DBB, thank you for the super chat. I think you're a sir. Your picture there looks like a massive weightlifting guy. But thank you very much, Prezify DBB. What's up, Ace? Love your vids and appreciate what you do. What's the ideal playoff matchup for us as the standings are now, in your opinion? There is no, if I'm being realistic, there is no ideal playoff matchup. I do think the Devils are capable of beating any team in the league in a playoff series, and I truly believe that, especially when the team is playing somewhat, not even at full throttle, even just, 3/4 of the way to our max potential. I thought some of our more max potential games I would call were obviously, those back-to-back shutouts where we only allowed 12 shots against the Penguins and the Rangers. Those are like close to max potential games for me. The games in Florida, they looked very good and won both of those. And so, obviously you're going to have peaks and valleys. I've been saying this for a while as well. But if the team as a whole could play anywhere near that level, and we see Markey that we've seen in the past, now almost month and a half, if we could get both of those things at the same time, we are going to be a tough team to beat. In terms of ideal playoff matchup, I just don't think there is any, honestly. Carolina scares the shit out of me. They really do. They're, battle tested. They've been there before. Brendan Moore, very good coach, and they've had our number in the playoffs forever. So Carolina scares me. A lot of people really want to get that monkey off our back and beat Carolina. I would love to beat them too, but the thought of playing them absolutely petrifies me. And I guess, I don't know. I do think we would match up better in a series against Washington than Carolina, I think. But, they're a very good team too. It's like, pick your poison. I mean, any of the teams in the playoffs are all going to be beasts. But I think after thinking about it, I would rather play Washington than Carolina if I had to pick. And then obviously conference final potentials. I mean, yeah, again, if the Devils go on a deep run, you're going to have to beat a lot of very good teams. And, I'm not counting out Tampa Bay, Florida, obviously Toronto. I mean, there's just so many good teams in the East that whoever makes it to the Cup Finals from the East is going to have a pretty gruesome path to get there. But there's no doubt about it. But thank you for the super Prezify. Marshall with a super. Thank you, Marshall. And there it is. Depositing my Markstrom apology. Never thought he was a bum, but wasn't thrilled when we got him. My bad. Dude is a beast. Dude is a beast. And that's how you do it. Props to you, Marshall. Marshall's like, you know what? I'm going to deposit my apologies. I had a stance. And he's happy he was wrong about it. Unlike some of you who want to clinch on to those hot takes and bad opinions and will it to be true. Don't be defiant, guys. Be like Marshall. He realized, he never was super anti, but he was like, I'm not sold. I'm not really happy. And here he is depositing his apologies. Markstrom is a beast. And that is a very, very logical take. How could you have a take other than what Marshall just graced you all with right there? The guy has been an absolute beast. And if you're not convinced after the last 3 games, then I can't convince you that the sky is blue. There is no hope for you. You are lost. Seek help. Seek professional help. But thank you very much, Marshall. Much appreciated. Searle, team, a long contention window by nearly all accounts. Doomers somehow still bitching. Yeah, I do think the contention window is a very nice, fat 4-ish, 5-ish years. Could be more, but I would say your ideal window is 4 years or so. And so, the future is bright, but I need the right now to be bright, and I want to see win now moves by Fitz. Win now moves. Now, it seems like we're going to have roughly the upper 5s to maybe 6 million cap space come deadline time. That's a decent little chunk to throw around. You have some options there. Now, are we going to get this magnificent top 6 kind of guy that people are clamoring for? I don't think so. A lot of people keep throwing out Brock Nelson. I would love Brock Nelson, but Brock Nelson is not going to come cheap. I don't think, again, for the 10th time, Lou Lamoriello is going to do the Devils any favors and trade them players that could help them win a cup. I think he fully loves the fact that the Devils have never won a cup since he's left. But more importantly, I'm not convinced that the Islanders are over Brock Nelson. Why wouldn't they try to keep him? And so, could it happen if the stars align that a top 6 guy does come in? Maybe. But everyone who's going to be looking to trade a top 6 guy is going to be looking for a massive haul in return. And the main pieces that the Devils have to offer that everyone's going to target is going to be, Shimo Nemitz or Seamus Casey. And I'm not looking to really trade either one of them. Now, I've said a million times before as well that in the right scenario for a truly impact player that's more than a rental, I would consider, I could consider trading Nemitz or Casey, really, for that matter. Given my choice between the two, because of the mobility and the offensive upside, I would prefer to keep Casey than Nemitz. But I think Nemitz is going to be a very good player too. But I'm not looking to just trade one of those guys like in a deal for someone like Brock Nelson, with no disrespect to Brock Nelson, but I'm not giving you a potential franchise kind of D-man for a guy like Brock Nelson. Bob Jenkins, will Hughes hit 100? I think he does, but again, he's right there with Brodeur. They're going to need to finish the season super strong. Super strong and really outdo his first half by a little bit. I mean, 1.32 points a game. It's kind of a lot, but it's not crazy. But he's going to need a stretch where he gets like 15 in 7 games or something like that to kind of ease the load a little bit, to where, if he could ever just get back to like a point a game, it is possible. They need a few multi-point games soon so that they're closer to a point per game average as opposed to the 1.32. Martin, what's going on? And a super from Martin. Thank you. Much appreciated. Martin, just give marks from the Vezina. What are we waiting for? And I will say, listen, he's going to be nominated, I think. Assuming he just stays the course like he is now. I mean, there's a chance he ends up with 40 wins. Or he's going to be damn close to it if he doesn't get 40 wins. And a lot of that will have to do with the utilization and the how they play the whole tandem situation as we get closer to the playoffs with the Jake Allen starts and how much they let Markey really run with the net. But I do believe he gets a nomination. And unfortunately, like some of the other trophies, I think it's somebody's to lose. Like, it's already defaulted to somebody. And in the case of the Vezina, it seems to me like it is going to be hard to pry that from the fingers of Connor Hellebuck, because he is having yet another monster season. And I just can't see it. But the nomination will be nice for sure. And I would love to see the win. It's going to take, Markey really playing wild for a long stretch and Hellebuck kind of slipping off. It could happen. Lots of hockey left. Kyle, thoughts on bringing in Henrique at the deadline? I mean, I would love Henrique back, but why would Edmonton do that? I think Edmonton loves him. I think he plays a role well for them. Let's see what my man Henny's doing this year. I haven't checked up on him in a minute. Franchise legend, that franchise legend that he is. Henrique, it's over. Yeah, the stats not looking too good for Henrique, but limited, he gets limited minutes, whatever. But 42 games played, 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points. And he's coming up on 1,000 games played. Wow. He's just going to miss it this year. He'll get it early next season. He's at 954 games played. What a career for Adam Henrique. Always root for him to win a cup if the Devils aren't involved. But yeah, in a hypothetical world where that was realistic, I would love Henrique. It's just not realistic. He's not leaving Edmonton, so it is what it is. But I love Henrique. George, do you think that the Devils get Taylor Hall? I think it's possible. I think it's worth examining, and I'm going to try to put that video out either tomorrow or Monday. I don't want to, go off on a thing here. It's worthy of its own video, so it will get its own video. Bob Jenkins, obviously Jets goalie. That's Connor Hellebuyck is winning Vezina, but Markey has to be right there. I agree. Sad Jets fan. I wanted to Mark Swayman or Askarov because I was told Markey's best days were behind him. What an idiot I was. All right, that's a step in the right direction. Sad Jets fan. Well, Swayman was never a realistic option, so that's fine. Allmark, he could have worked out for the Devils long term. I think I'm happy with the way this all played out, and Markey, and figuring out if we have one of the kids in the organization to be the next guy, or we go back to the marketplace to find the next franchise goalie post Markey. But that's a problem for the future, guys. I'm living in the now, in the right now, and for right now, Jacob Markstrom is playing his ass off for your New Jersey Devils and straight up thefting games. With that being said, I did want Askarov in addition to Markey. I wanted to use Askarov kind of where Allen's being used now as that tandem-ish guy and have Markey groom him for a couple of years before ultimately taking over. Or maybe even Markey plays that third year. Again, Markey signed up to the end of next season. If he continues to play like this and he looks like this next year, guess what, guys? Sign him up. I'm signing him up for a third season, but we'll see what happens when we get there. But Askarov, I think, wanted to get into the league right away. Him and his agent made a stink. And the whole thing, they kind of forced Barry Trott's hand. And so, congratulations. He got what he wanted, but he's playing on a bad Sharks team like Mackenzie Blackwood was before he was saved and traded to the Avalanche. And I expect, it pains me to say this, I root for the guy, but it just pains me to say this because we had him and we ran out of time. I'm not blaming anyone for this because it is unfortunate. I do think Mackenzie Blackwood wins a cup with the Avalanche, guys. I'm firmly on record. I think Mackenzie Blackwood wins a cup with the Avalanche, but sad Jets fan, way to come clean and to deposit your Markstrom apologies in the comments. Daniel Pino, another super. Thank you, sir. Someone said in the pregame chat the black jerseys need to be retired, which made me think of a question. What is the most winningest color jersey? Oof. Wow. It's interesting. It probably wouldn't be as skewed as some might suspect. And a thing that throws the monkey wrench into this is for forever before the 03-04 season, white was the home jersey. And I always love, and that's why it probably plays a little bit of the nostalgia maybe in part of it, but I think the white jersey is so clean. I love our logo, the way it pops. Like, look at this photo. Look at this photo of Marty behind me. Look how nice that Devils red pops on the white jersey. So that'll forever be my favorite jersey of all time. But they wore white at home for so many years when they were so good during those dynasty years. And so I'd imagine their home record was probably very good during that era. But the red jersey has then been home for so long after it. But it's a good question, Daniel. I'm going to take a pictures and see if there's any way to figure this out later. Because they have switched, and then there's obviously the one-off games where they wear the other color at home. So this is a deep research project, but very good question. Yeah, the dynasty years, white was home, but I just don't think it was enough time. They've already been moved on to red at home for 20 years. I would have to pick red just because of that. But the Devils also were terrible for so many of those years too. It's a good question. It's a good question. I'm going to attempt to get the answer to. Yeah, then I'm going to attempt to get the answer to. Let me make sure I have this. All right. For Devil Marcus should be in the top 3. If we're talking about Vezina, he definitely is. Ace says, number 9 is available for Hall. It certainly is. It certainly is. John Woodson, giving up a first rounder on NHL defenseman for a 35-year-old goalie is never a good trade unless your core is in their prime. I'm going to say our core is in their prime. They might actually be, they're close to their prime. Close enough to where I'm not waiting anymore. These are precious, valuable years, Woodson. What are you, nuts? Markstrom was a win-now move, baby. Win now, and I love it. I'll give up that first rounder. Markstrom's going to give us as good of a chance as anyone to go on a deep run this season, Woodson, and he's going to give us a chance to go on another run next season. And guess what? If he looks good next year, you might see him again for the, what would that be then, the 26-27 season. And so it's a win-now move. I'll give up that first rounder. Good trade for Fitzy, and you're never going to convince me that it's not. I'm not waiting. Oh, then you said our core is 22-25, not 27-20-30. But there's going to be so many other things. You were just going to let them continue to suck for 3 years? No, man. This team is capable of winning a cup now. You have to be realistic. Yeah, a first rounder is not worth keeping over a guy like getting a guy like Markey. He's the X factor. Period. Gives us a chance to go on deep runs the next 2 years at a minimum. And at a minimum, Yo Holmes, what's going on? Woodson, child, hush. Go Boro at John Woodson, but in the summer, what would you have taken? Allmark? Max, what is SST smoking? Markey has played 31 games. Where is he getting played terrible in the first 30 and played well the last 30? He's last 15. He's talking about the overall season, Max, not his particular starts, but the first 30 games of the Devil season, and then the 15 of the Devil season. Bose, have you ever fought someone at a game at Runnin with the Devils? No, I have not. And to be honest, I haven't even gotten that close, really. I will say, I think the people that I would never start a fight. I'd gladly finish a fight, but I'm not a stupid kid. I'm not starting fights, right? So, a lot of the people you see that do get into these altercations at games are one of two things or both. They're either completely hammered, or they're completely stupid and immature, or both, which is obviously the nightmare variety is when they're an immature moron and they're drunk. Recipe for disaster. That being said, I think these people by and large are cowards, and they typically get brave with those that they feel confident against. And so when you're in an arena of so many people and you're one of these drunk idiots and you're looking for a problem and you want to start a fight, you typically will look for what I would call an easy target. Now, being that I'm fairly big, I'm not that tall. I'm 6 foot, but I'm fairly thick in stature. People, if you see me and a few other people, just by odds, you would probably say I like my chances against that guy, who's 5'6" and 160 versus that guy who's kind of big. And so that is I would think a kind of deterrent, if you will, that I'm glad exists, because I don't want to be fighting people in arenas. Why would I want to do that? Obviously, I'm trying to keep above board, keep my nose out of trouble, and enjoy the games and go home and not fight people. Now, if someone started a fight, I'd definitely finish it. But people, start fights with people that they think are an easy win. At least most of them. Cowardice behavior. Go Boro. Nash had their heart set on Saros. No way we're getting Hellebuck or Andre without some super premium. Yeah, Saros was a guy I would have loved as well. When it seemed like Nashville would have potentially traded him and then made Askarov their guy, which I thought would have been crazy by Nashville. Even when people were speculating that was going to be the case, I was like, I'd rather keep the known thing with Saros and trade Askarov. But Askarov is much younger and is cheaper. So it's kind of a, chicken or the egg scenario. But essentially when Askarov's agent went to the media and cried and did all that, it kind of forced Trotz's hand. And yeah, I don't think, and I do think that Fitz inquired on both, if he could pry away Saros or Askarov from Nashville. And supposedly the ask was very high. The ask was very, very high, and Fitz didn't want to pay, overpay. And you want a GM who's going to be a little cautious of overpaying. And people are saying he overpaid for Markstrom, which is crazy. So what would people have done if they traded if he traded some crazy package to get one of those other goalies? The second the guy lost the game, these doomers would be even crazier. Justin T. Overtime, I like General Keefe. Put it upon himself to call his top players to answer their dividends with a true hard noser in front of the net. I don't know if that meant to say Nason, but either way, hard nose Nason. And here's John Woodson. Markey's save percentage isn't even close to the top 5 in the league. Okay, one stat you picked. What about wins? Second in the league, I believe. What about shutouts? I believe tied for second or third. Goals against in the top 5 to 10. I mean, what more? You picked the only stat that he's not towards the top of the league. Hold on. Now I got to serve Woodson. Now I got to pull the tab up, and this guy's making me do extra work here. But okay. Let's see what we got. Jacob Markstrom, 4th in the league in goals against average with a beautiful 2.19. Love to see it. We go to his save percentage, which is going to be his worst category, which is obviously the reason why Woodson picked it. Jacob Markstrom coming at number 13 with a 911 save percentage. And he's now tied for 3rd in the league with 3 shutouts. And the most important one. Oh, he's slipped. Oh, he's slipped, but he'll rise from the ashes. Oh no, wait, this isn't filtered. My bad. He didn't slip, guys. Tied for 2nd with Ottinger with the most wins in the league in 21. So near the top in every category except for save percentage and including the most important one, which is wins, tied for 2nd. Yet this guy still picks out save percentage as the thing to complain about. And this is proof, my friends. Doomer's going to doom. Don't be a doomer. Max, 139 watching, 67 likes. Smash the like button for your boy Ace. Thank you, Max. Smash the damn like button for your boy Ace. Hit the thumbs up. Let's tell him, Dr. Brian. Hit the thumbs up. All right, now I've fallen super behind. We went off on tangents. More smack talking in the comments. Trying to catch back up here. Wading through the people talking about Timo. Okay. We'll zip past that. David, what's going on? Markstrom got us through the last few games. Absolute gem performances against the Kraken, Rangers, and here tonight against the Lightning. Nothing more to say about Markey. I've been praising this man for quite a long time. Frank, props to your no block policy. Censorship sucks. Censorship sucks. That's kind of a tongue twister there. We're grown-ups. We can handle the children. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. Chico, I think it's kind of soft to block someone for anything less than like threats and harassment, but I do love a fight. Add me to that list because I think your idea is, I'm not sure what that's in reference to. BS. Kyle says Nason does the same thing Timo does and more, but for a fraction of the cost. I somewhat agree with you there, but here's the thing. In an ideal world, would I like to pay Timo Meier a little bit less? Obviously, I could say that about everybody, right? But the Stefan Nason contract on the flip side is an absolute theft, a complete steal. So now, if I add up their contracts, if we look at the whole body of work instead of just singling it out, so he's making 2.75. So call it between him and Timo, it's like 11.5 million. If you say for these two players, how do I feel about paying 11.5 million? And if you say you're anything less than completely elated and blessed to be paying that money for those two guys combined, you're nuts. And so, yeah, maybe a little overpayment. Sure, maybe a little bit. I still give him the money because someone else would have, right? So I like what he brings. I value it. Maybe you guys don't. You want more points. I would love more points too, but I do value the other stuff, and I'm not going to kill him. If he plays his role in the team, chips in here and there, has some big-time plays in the playoffs, makes us heavier, edgier, more violent, more difficult to play against, annoys the shit out of the other team, is a constant agitator, thorn in their side, guys that they just hate playing, that's his role. And if he plays on a winning team, congratulations. That is a beautiful signing, but ideally would I like to pay him a little less? Sure, but Nason's complete robbery. And so you got to look at the bigger picture. John Woodson, Nason is the only jersey I'd buy on this team. If I was into wearing jerseys of current guys, Nason would be at the very top of the list for me personally, along with Jacob Markstrom. Those would probably, if someone's like, you have to wear a jersey for some reason, some hypothetical weird world, I had to wear a current player's jersey for whatever reason, I would, pick Nason or Markstrom. James, very fitting we were wearing the jailbird jersey tonight because Markstrom completed an absolute robbery on point. Oh, man. What a robbery. Alex, Timo or Dougie both making $9 million. Who would you rather have? It's a loaded question. Is that in a vacuum? Is that for this specific Devils team? It's a toss-up. I can make the argument for both. I could say, nah, in the end, because of the riches we have on defense, you have to pick Timo. For sure. You're not easily replicating what he brings. And I do think, more so than a lot of you here, that not having Dougie would be a massive, massive hit. You know, he generates lots of goals. He's on the ice for a lot of goals. He had that play tonight with that shot that was tipped by Pally. I mean, he generates a lot of offense. I think a lot of you would miss him if he was gone. But with that being said, I would feel more confident in replacing him on this team than I would Timo, or at least with pieces on hand in the organization. So obviously, if Dougie's out, you look for maybe a Casey to replace him. Versus if you took Timo out, you have nothing on hand to remotely replace him with that's even comparable. We're looking for pieces to upgrade the bottom six. Never mind a top six guy like Timo Meyer. And so, in that to answer your question, Alex, it's definitely Timo. John, what's the only jersey I have is Brodeur and Parisi. Those are two good ones. Go Boro, you going full Let's Go USA, or is it more a leisure for you at the upcoming tournament? I don't know what that means exactly, Go Boro. What do you mean by that? I love hockey. I love USA hockey. I love USA. And so, yeah, I'm jacked up for the tournament. Phil McCracken, I hope they rework that turd jersey. It just doesn't do it for me. It's grown on me in time. I'll never love it. I absolutely hated it the first time I saw it. I can tolerate it now, but it could have been and should have been so much better, in my opinion. Could have and would have been so much better. Kevin G, what? Is Mark Johnson not worthy of being on your jersey? No. And he was before my time, so another reason why I wouldn't get it. Nicole Lee, we're hockey fans. We don't block people who say stupid stuff. We love a fight. Some people just might value some people get real fired up by the doomers. They might just rather not see the comments and enjoy their inner peace. Brandon Thomas, good game tonight. I'm happy the Devils won. I just watched the game recap, and it really bugs me when I only counted one time the Devils screened the goalie, and that one time was Nason. Yeah. I mean, I think that they had more than one, but you would like to see it a little more consistently. People talking about Blake Coleman. Chico, Blake Coleman would have been perfect on this roster. He was just a couple years too early for us. Not worth bringing him back now. Agreed. John Woodson. Nason learned how to play real hockey in Carolina. I wonder how much it'd take to make Brind'Amour teach the others. No, I said he went down to Rod Brind'Amour University in Carolina and learned on a very good team under a very good teacher in Brind'Amour. They went on some playoff runs. And it served him well. And he took everything he learned at Rod Brind'Amour U. He brought it back here, signed with the Devils, and now he's having the breakout season of a lifetime. And probably he's one of the guys the most outperforming their contract in the league for sure. Sad Jets fan, we're on a collision course with the Canes, which will be a really heated series. Looking forward to it. Man, I'm gonna be nervous. I'd be excited and nervous at the same time. The chance to finally get them would be nice. Alex, in the summer, I thought Mark could be above average, which I was fine with. We said last year we just needed average goaltending and we make the playoffs. Now I would say Marky is elite, and I love it. Yeah. And hopefully he continue to play that way. And hopefully we don't have to rely on him, being Superman on a lot of nights. And then again, tonight is another one that could have gotten away from us if it wasn't for Marky. But he has been elite. Alex Russo, do you think playoff teams are saying, oh, shit, it's the Devils? I hope so, but some teams in the back of their head, I think, if they're being honest with themselves, because you now have to realize that while we, have not been good overall in the past, unfortunately, too long, outside of a couple seasons, people are seeing how Jacob Markstrom's playing, so obviously you don't want to go up in the playoff series against an elite goalie if you can avoid it. And furthermore, the Devils' team speed and explosiveness has been known league-wide now since that breakout 22-23 season. And so I know a lot of coaching staffs, I'm sure, and players and other teams are like, the Devils are a very highly skilled, offensively explosive, fast team. And a lot of teams don't match up well with that and would rather play another team. So I do think, are they overtly saying, oh, shit, it's the Devils like that? Probably not. But if they're being honest with themselves, they would probably say, they're going to give us some problems. I would probably rather face, a different team. 4 Devils, start hating the Canes now if you haven't already. Oh, my hatred of the Canes is well documented, but I do have PTSD. John Woodson, giving out midseason trophies like it's grade school again. We'll see what Markey does in the playoffs. Jay Snow, Ace is really afraid of the Canes. Not as much afraid as just PTSD. They've been our daddy for so long. And the thought of it happening again is troublesome. Say a Jets fan, rebuild isn't in lose vocabulary. He's not trading anyone unless it's for a haul. It's definitely possible. We'll see what their situation's looking like in terms of the playoffs when we get closer to the deadline. Beachmaster, Taylor Hall, get it. John Woodson, Ace wants to win now, but our core isn't old enough just yet. I get it, but I'm just realistic. I don't want to ruin our window in 2027, 2032. Dude, is that a serious window, Woodson? Oh, my God. If that's really what you believe the window is, you're more gone than I thought. 2027 to 2032? Come on, man. You have no idea. What is, you're just basing that now on what? Jack and Luke? How old is, 7 years from now, is Nico going to be 33? Come on. This is crazy stuff. Our window's open right now. There is no such thing as too young. And why not us? Why not us? When we are on our A game with Jacob Markstrom, I want to go on 2 deep runs with this man at a minimum. I want hockey in May. I'm sticking with my preseason prediction. I said I believe we make the conference finals. I still believe that we do. I hope that we do. And it'd be amazing to win a cup in these next 2 years with Markey. I could visualize Markey hoisting the cup as a New Jersey Devil, and he would be immortalized at some point. I'm going to start maybe refreshing the studio every so often, but these are just such iconic images. It's hard to swap them out. But I could see a Markstrom one up there in the not too distant future. Jeff, VTech would have stopped point. SST probably. Oh, man, that's funny. Phil McCracken, Cooch is a squad that feeds him. Jack still has the whole team on his back. I guess yes and no. I don't know if it's as dramatic as the whole team on his back, but as someone, I forget again, I read so many comments and respond to so many comments. I apologize. I can't remember who says what all the time, but someone said something along the lines of the team, again, the team goes the way Jack does. And it does seem like that on a lot of nights that, the team goes as far as Jack goes, or if it's Jack struggles, the team struggles. And, that's going to happen with a lot of teams in any sport with your best player. And it maybe seems that it happens a little more often with the Devils and Jack, but big game players show up in big moments. I mean, he did tonight. Obviously, he had a bad taste in his mouth coming off that Ranger game, and he wanted to make up for it. And he sort of did, even though he got lucky. I mean, that was a kind of a forced pass across the middle that got broken up, and he even acknowledged that in the post game. But it settled down sort of right in front of Nason, at least enough to give it a whack in. And Nason didn't waste it. Buried that thing. Metalhander, Ace, Langenbrunner interview was great. The Lou bus theory was a surprise. Chico would totally do that for you. Interesting for us older fans. Oh, thank you very much, Metalhander. Appreciate it. If you haven't seen it yet, link in description. Or link in the chat, rather. I'll put it in the description as well, I guess. But I just dropped it in the chat. I had the chance to sit down with Jamie Langenbrunner and talk the good old days. One of my favorite things to talk about, as many of you know, is the good old days, the dynasty years. your 2003 Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils. I love talking about the 95 and 2000 teams as well, but there's a little extra special place in my heart for that 03 team. And I got to sit down and talk with Jamie Langenbrunner. It was a thrill for me. It was awesome. I have a ton of guys on my list to hopefully speak with over time. Pretty much everyone you could think of would be on my list. We'll see how many I could eventually accomplish over time. And Chico, definitely one of them, Meadowlander. But thank you for watching that. And again, if you haven't seen it and you're an older fan, or maybe just kind of want to get a vibe of some of the older school guys, get an education, guys. If you don't know, look up Jamie Langenbrunner. Look especially at his 2003 playoff clips. And you could check out my conversation with him that just hit the channel yesterday. Luke Perry, Henrique signed a deal in Edmonton. No, yeah, he did. I don't know. That's why I don't know why people are speculating. I'll entertain it to an extent. Jay Snow says, please no Taylor Hall. Oh, yeah, there's just so many comments. Like I said, you guys are winning fixes all, and you guys are super chatty. I guess winning fixes all except dooming. Dooming never. Alex Russo, because you know I'm a fat ass, so I'll bite on this. Bro, random, but how good are Snickers ice cream bars? Almost as good as Jacob Markstrom. Man, when I was a kid, that was one of the go-tos. And my mother liked them too, so we would have them. If my mom liked something, which is rare, my mother doesn't really get into like snacking that much or like, buying junk food when I was a kid. But Snickers ice cream bars were something that she liked herself. And so those were in stock in the freezer quite often because we all like them. Snickers ice cream bars, absolute classic. If you've never had one, I don't know where you've been living, I guess, for your entire life. But yeah, wow. Snickers ice cream bars, baby. Hellebuck got a shutout tonight, so more than likely we'll win the Vezina over Markey. Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time to go. And so, he could do something to potentially steal it from him, but I don't think so. I think Hellebuck's going to get it. But Markey getting the nomination's a nice little nod for sure. What's going on, Maria? Hi, Ace. Hi, everyone. Just got back. What a game. Glad OT wasn't a repeat of the last one. My blood pressure can't handle it. Yeah, neither can mine. I'm always having near cardiac events. During the overtime session, and glad it ended much differently than it did in New York at the Garden the other night for us tonight. Stefan Nason, the junkyard dog. Said Jets fan, our Reebok era jerseys with the stripe on the bottom needs to come back. That's our winningest jersey. Is it? I don't know how that could be more winningest than the old school whites. From before 03. Nicole Lee, I was honestly sad to see Blackwood go. Unpopular opinion, but I liked him. I liked him too, but I was kind of at the point where I was just like, I just want to get a real goalie. And I knew that the franchise for all those years believed Blackwood was the next franchise guy. And so that prevented them from, it didn't fully prevent them, I guess, but it was definitely a hindrance in going out and getting a guy like Markstrom or whoever, to be the next guy because they thought he was it. And I was just like, I even told my buddy, I was like, I defended him. Some of my friends wanted him gone like multiple seasons. I held out for a while and I kept defending him. And I was like, I think he's going to get it together. I think we'll finally see some consistency because during the Blackwood era, we saw a lot of great games from him. And you're like, damn, when you see the flashes of greatness, whether, it was a random shutout win or even a solid game in a close game we lost or a very good game in a game we won, you're like, it's there. But then he'd come out the next game and shit the bed and like lose 5-0. And you're like, oh my God, like, are we ever going to see him play good, like consistently? And so it came to the point where I was just like, maybe he needs a change of scenery. Turns out that's exactly what the doctor ordered. He went to San Jose, played behind a pretty bad Sharks team and had respectable numbers. And a contender swooped in and was like, that's our next guy. And he went to the Avalanche and he hit a career lottery. I mean, what a move for him. He gets signed up for big money, like 5 years, $5.5 million a year, $27.5 million deal. And you're on a contender now. I mean, oh my God, I can't. It's literally going from rags to riches. You're on a bad team, and now you're going to a great team and getting paid. Good for him. I'll always root for Mac Black. Phil McCracken, the Stadium Series jerseys were sharp. I really like those for sure. SST, tell Pino to send another super chat asking to block me. Go Boro. Some people don't count cups, and it was the original 6. I mean, they're cups, but like, come on, let's be real. They're cups with a huge asterisk. That doesn't compare to the modern day era cups. SJ, this team plays down to the opponent. They lose to SJ twice. How? Yeah, for whatever reason, we've seen it all season. You know, the so-called lower level teams give us more trouble than some of the better teams. And the Devils so far over the course of the year, I mean, yeah, 1-2 now against Tampa, but I think better 500 or better against the other bigger guns. I think maybe it's a 2-1-1 against Washington, 2-0 against Florida. I think 2-2 against the Canes. I mean, so overall, pretty good record against the good teams. And in the end, you know, it sucks to lose to bad teams, but you know, seeing your Devils be very competitive and win a lot of games against higher end teams is a, you know, it's a nice thing to see. Markstrom is a warrior, absolutely. Go Boro. There's teams that have had 36-plus-year-old goalies with Stanley Cup Finals or wins. Wawa's playoff MVP at 36 and 01. Hasek in 2002, and of course, Brodeur at nearly 40 in 2012 for the final. Yeah, I've talked about this forever. We saw Bobrovsky win the cup last year. I think he was 35. So, you know, 34 years old for Markey doesn't nearly didn't deter me whatsoever. I wasn't worried about getting him. I was very excited when the rumors first came out, and I was obviously even more excited when it actually happened. For Devils, so if we draw a line, who is Team Doomer and who is Team Believer on this chat, in or out? That's a good one. Who thinks we can win a cup now? Who thinks Evan's Life? Ace, do you go to signings? Sometimes. Sometimes. I don't go to nearly as many as I did when I was younger. But for certain guys, I would go. Go Boro. Ace, what's your favorite finishing move to do in a fight? Can't beat a one-winged angel through a table. Oh, it's got to be, without a doubt, the Stone Cold Stunner. Obviously, the Stone Cold Stunner. Doug says this was in reference to Woodson. Oh, come on. You're really going to bring up save percentage when Markstrom is literally winning us the game. Yeah, that's what Doomers do. They look for the one thing that supports their narrative, and they cling to it for dear life. It's like, his save percentage sucks. I told you he sucks. He really sucks. It's just Doomer nonsense. Just say you were wrong. It's okay. You could be wrong. Someone deposited their apologies in the comments in the form of a super chat. You're welcome to do the same. Or you could keep save percentage. The Devils can be anyone, but like Ace says, they have to be on from the beginning the entire game, but sometimes they decide to not forecheck or defend. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. How do we get them to play the way they need to play every night? And that's a question for Sheldon Keefe and something he is challenged with doing with this group. A lot of these guys don't want to hit and they don't want to get dirty. You must hit. You must get dirty. Kyle, is Timo untouchable in the foreseeable future, in your opinion? Yes. Yes, he is. He absolutely is. Alex, Timo does drive play, just struggling with the finish. Jason, Timo has to sacrifice offense playing on Nico's line. Wow, that's pretty wild. Current Vezina odds, if these are real, Captain Mofongo. Hellebuck minus 2,000. Philip Gustafson plus 700. Jacob Markstrom plus 3,000. Mackenzie Blackwood plus 4,000. Logan Thompson plus 9,000. Dude, I'll be honest. At those values, I love the Jacob Markstrom bet, and I also love the Mackenzie Blackwood bet. You throw a honeybee? You throw a little honeybee on each one of those? A mere hundo on Markstrom to pay out $3K if he wins? You throw a hundy on Blackwood and you get $4K? Whew, those are juicy odds. Those are juicy odds that I wish you never threw out there, Mofongo, because after I get off this stream, I'm going to go log into one of these degenerate betting websites and see if those odds are really, if those are real. I mean, those are crazy odds. Go Bora, are you going full party mode for the tournament? USA, USA, USA. Are you more or are you more enjoying it casually? What does that mean? I mean, am I going to be smashed? I don't know. What does that mean? Those crazy days are behind me. I get a few festive beverages. I won't be driving or anything, so I'll be free to just enjoy my time. I'll definitely have a couple party beverages. I'll be making some videos of some kind. Woodson says we need Dougie's cap space to sign our younger defenders. Yeah, I don't think he's here forever. At some point, I think he gets moved, but I don't think it's going to be this season. Do you feel better or worse about the Devils Cup odds now than at the beginning of the season? If I'm being honest, probably right about the same. Right about the same, I think. Now, had you asked me before the holiday break, like on Christmas Day, when I was stuffing my face with all the Christmas goodies, if you asked me the same question, I would have said better. The recent skid is a little worrisome, so I would say it knocked it down a slight peg. And so I would say, yeah, I mean, listen, my preseason prediction was they at least get to the conference finals. I hope further, but I think at a minimum they get to the conference finals. I'm still sticking with that. And so, yeah, not much has changed. They've pretty much played almost exactly, I guess, points-wise, like I would have predicted. I was very high on the team with the changes Fitz made in the offseason. And so, I'm going to say it's pretty much the same at this juncture. Brandon, I actually think the only team this team needs to grow some balls and get in front of the opponent net with no hesitation. Yeah, hopefully we see some more crashing the net. Like to see, goalies get screened. Teams have been doing it to us all year with varying levels of success, but a lot of them have been fairly successful with shots that either from the point get through because of a screen or, like I said, they pinball off somebody, a deflection, a tip, hits a skate. Yeah, wild stuff. Go Boro at Natus. I remember hearing Danico talk in an interview about the Senators being the hardest people to play back in the day, too. Yeah, that Senators team, especially the one in 03. Yeah, they were a beast. Alex says Sens with Liam and Co. were a problem for sure. Yeah, Daniel Alfredson. They had some weapons. Wade Redden. Morgan Williams. Fitz can add bottom six reinforcements by the deadline. Yeah, and I think that's the plan. Jay Snow, we need a 3C badly. I think you're going to get one. I think you will. Woodson, you need smart term signings on defense. Dougie and Plott's contracts off the books and key bottom six signings. We aren't getting anyone relevant on the bottom six for $1 million each. Well, I don't know why would it have to be $1 million? We're going to have more cap space at the deadline. Go Boro. Yeah, Cotter, $775. Crazy. He's going to get paid his next contract for sure. SST, Halla is candidate number 1 to be traded this trade deadline. I'm curious to know, SST, what team do you think would be interested in obtaining Eric Halla, and what would they be offering for him? I'm so curious. Woodson, it's the same as football. If 18-year-olds play against 23, 24-year-olds, they get rolled. People laugh as if 5 years isn't a difference. It's a man versus boys league. They need to lose before they win. I agree, but we lost in 2023. And while we have some boys, we also have some men. And I believe we could have just the right mixture if we get hot at the right time. If we hopefully see some improvements in the bottom six in terms of production. If Jacob Markstrom is on, I'm going to keep going back to the why not us. This team should be able to make a real run. John Woodson, Cotter's a steal. You're not lucking out getting 6 Cotters in the same year. You need a $2-3 million budget to spend on some third line guys. And they could easily have that. Frank, took my 8-year-old nephew to his first game tonight. What a game. Oh, that's awesome, Frank. Did he love it? I'm sure he did. Did you buy him merchandise? Did you feed him all the junk? I need to know the details, Frank. But what a win. An overtime win for his first game. Creating new fans game by game. Jay Snow, Woodson recently QBs have won Super Bowls in their second year. Woodson, I think, fits for the most part, stays, but he probably will use one of our 3 second-round picks and a bottom 6 guy, but that's it. Time to keep draft picks to restock. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Happens. You're going to see a depth move with not a lot of assets parted with. A second rounder. It is what it is. John Woodson, Nashville overpaid for a bunch of old superstars. We dodged a bullet. I do think Stamkos, or even Marchessault for that matter, would look better on this Devils team, but maybe we did. I don't know. Obviously, if we signed one of them, one of the other free agency moves wouldn't happen. So, and they all pretty much all the free agency moves outside of Tatar worked out and you wouldn't want to go back on. I mean, I don't think anyone's unhappy with Pesci or Dylan or Nason. So, you know, you wouldn't have money to do all of that. Natus, Ed Belfour was 34 and he won the cup with Dallas in 99. Eddie Belfour, another legendary workhorse goaltender from the glory days of the 90s and into the 2000s. Captain Mofongo, the Vezina odds were reported on NHL Network. Okay, so maybe the books will have it like that. John Woodson, Cotter will more than likely replace Hall of salary when his term ends. I'm confident in him being a third-line guy. I think is that Jenna? Are the pads used by Devils player? If so, was it Broderick? And then the corrections for Brodeur. And yes, those leg pads and that glove and blocker were all used by the GOAT, the great Martin Brodeur. In fact, they were all used by him and are among some of my favorite Devils collectibles and a long line of them. SST, Ace ignored my post about Brodeur winning 15 Vezinas if wins were important. He knows I'm right. He always ignores my post where I'm right. I'm not ignoring anything, dude. There's 27,000 posts in here, and this thing's scrolling, and I'm trying to somewhat manage it. And so, you know, to be honest, I can't even read all of them. It's a combination of quick glances, scanning, scrolling. So I'm not sure what your post was. So write it again, and if I see it, I'll certainly tell you why it's wrong. I'll be happy to tell you why it's wrong. Jay Snow, keep taking Dougie off the ice in OT was nice. I'm at the point where I want Luke on PP1. I still like Dougie out there. I like them both. I like them both. Go Boros says, oh man, I hope your kid enjoyed the first game. What a core memory. Jenna hit a bunch of buttons. I'm not sure what's going on there. Jay Snow, I hate wasting years. There's a move to make. You got to do it. I 100% agree. I don't know, Woodson trying to convince everybody that the core is too young to win. Bullshit. This team is ready to win now. Ready to win now, and I gladly redo that trade for Markey in a heartbeat. Giving up a first rounder, okay. And ball, it is what it is. It is what it is. Markey has been a difference maker for this team. Jenna, we got a good win. SST says, I think Jenna is Pino. Frank says, we had a great night. Kid had a blast. Awesome. But Frank, did you buy the junk food and did you buy the merch? I need to know, Frank. Woodson, I'll waste 1 or 2 good years to win 3 cups. Okay. But, there's no promise tomorrow. You never know what could happen. And when you got the pieces, I think you got to make win now moves. Roland, Ace, rank these teams from best to worst, unbiased, please. Caps, Devils, Knights. As of right now, I would say Knights, Devils, Caps. No, I can't. The Devils got to be third. No, as of right now, Knights, Caps, Devils. Knights, Caps, Devils. I do think we're going to go further than Washington in the playoffs, but as of right now, I have to put Knights first, Caps second, Devils third. Select a boy. Would a Caps Devils rivalry be possible? I don't think so. I mean, anything can happen, but I just feel like to be a true rivalry, you have to be closer in geographical proximity. Like even the Devils and the Flyers had a pretty good rivalry, but and that's Devils and Philly are pretty close geographically. An hour and a half or so apart, whatever that is. 100 miles between Newark and Philly. And both of them had very good teams for a stretch. The Devils knocked out the Flyers in the 1995 Eastern Conference Finals en route to winning the Stanley Cup. And the Devils knocked them out in 2000 en route to winning another cup. And they were both pretty good for all those years. The Flyers went to the Cup Finals in 97, And so they were both good, overlapping for a while. And I would say the rivalry was pretty good then, but it still was nowhere near as good as the Rangers rivalry, in my opinion. And so, the Flyers never even got close. For the Caps, it could be one, but obviously for one like that, it would really have to be born in like a grueling 7-game playoff series. Like it would have to be like some epic warfare 7-game series to really start off, in my opinion, a Capitals, Devils true rivalry. John Woodson, once Fitz gets fired, me and SST will GM us to a dynasty. Oh boy. I think John Woodson took win or lose, we booze and ran with it. Michael, good morning from Finland Devils fans. What's going on, Michael? Joining us from Finland. How are you? Wow, they are used. Of course they are. The great Martin Brodeur. Selected Boy says, what's up, Michael? Husky Unchained, good morning, Michael. Oh, Rob, briefly touched on it. I didn't want to go on a tangent, but Rob from NJ says, another game where the ref kept us from clearing the puck. Yeah, another referee assist for the other team. It wasn't attempting to clear. It was basically preventing Jack from dumping it in and kind of cost us a chance going against us. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. But we still had a chance afterwards to kind of save it. Nowhere near as bad as when the Siegenthaler clearing attempt was blocked. But it still hurts. Luckily, we won the game still. Would have been nice to win in regulation. I would have been thrilled to win 2-1 in regulation and prevent the Lightning from getting any points. But, Roland, Ace, are Palat, Hamilton, Meyer, and Hall the overpaid players on our team? I don't think, in the end, I don't think, you have to look at the whole contract. So Dougie at $9 million, a lot of people are saying listen, right now, do you love that contract? No, but you have to consider he was a big fish in free agency. That's what the cost it was to get him here. He had a monster 22-23 season where we set a franchise record. You have to put some value on that. We went to the playoffs, first time for a lot of the kids, beat the Rangers in 7 games. He got hurt last year, and I would say he's a pretty big part of this team still, even though people don't want to recognize it. And so really, Palat obviously is overpaid. And Halla, not a great season, but again, he makes like $3 million. Not crazy. Palat's the only one that to me really sticks out as like, oof. But hopefully he comes up big in the playoffs. He came up big today. He's been contributing more playing with Jack and Jesper, and maybe, while he doesn't get the production you want at that price in the regular season, he could have a big playoff. Snan, Luke on first PP, then Dougie on second because you can utilize Dougie a shot more on the second. As long as they both get a sniff, I would be fine with it. I think they're both worth utilizing. Obviously, Dougie the bigger threat with the shot, and Luke a little bit more of a threat to slash and find lanes to shoot or pass or create something. Queens, New York guy, what's going on? Ace, great Jamie Langenbrunner interview, my man. Thank you. Thank you, Queens, New York guy. Shout out to another old school fan. If you're an old school fan, check it out on the channel. Jamie Langenbrunner, man. What a thrill for me. John Woodson, Luke is better on OT just because he has the wheels to get back. It kills me to give him credit, but it's facts. Yeah, obviously, in the overtime session, speed is at a crazy premium. Speed is everything in the overtime. And Luke definitely has it. And I agree. Go Bora, wasn't Pittsburgh's 2008, 2010 core really young when they won? It was pretty young. A young Sid, a young Gino, a young Fleury. And they were surrounded by veterans. I think it was a good mix. And that's kind of what I like about this team. I think it is a good mix. We have the young kids. Timo's not that young. Neither is Dougie. Nico's on the younger side, but he's a little bit older than Jack, obviously, and Luke being kids. But you got the grizzled veterans like Dylan, Nason. I like the team. I think it is a good mixture of everything you need to win. And if they could perform, the sky is the limit. Morgan Williams should also have Gritsuk, who's 23, coming over this spring after the KHL season, no later than May 25th. Now expecting Kaprizov, or I guess I meant to say not expecting Kaprizov or Panarin level production is lofty, but can he be better than Gusev? So Morgan Williams, I overheard some rumblings. I forgot to look into it because, again, if you've been around here for a while, and I think you have been at least, I've said multiple times I was never counting on that guy coming over. Everyone was thought it was a given that he was going to join the Devils at some point this year. The KHL is a shady league. I hate to say it. It is shady. It's in Russia. It's owned by shady people, oligarchs, and oil money involved. And I said, I'll believe it when I see it. And then I'm pretty sure I heard something the other day that a new rule or something has been passed in the KHL, which now makes it impossible for Gritsuk to join the Devils at any point this season. So I think the Gritsuk dream that a lot of people were clinging onto for this season is done. Frank, with the uncle update. Wait, Frank, I messed up. Frank, was it your son or it was your nephew? No, it was your nephew. I'm an uncle too, a funkle as they call us in the industry, a fun uncle. Frank, junk food, yes. Hat and jersey also. That's how you do it, Frank, baby. You're doing it right. Start them young, bring them to the game, hook them on the team, give them the junk food, get them the merch. Lifelong fan. Check, check, check. Great job, Frank. And the Devils delivered for you. What a game your nephew saw. Here we go, SST. So for Ace, if he reads it, if wins were important, Brodeur would have had 15 Vezinas. Save percentage is the most important stat. Challenge me. Wrong. You're completely wrong. The most important stat, wins. Wins. The W for the wins. That matters the most. All the stats are important, but wins matters more than anything. Goals against and save percentage are very important as well. But in the end, if that's all you focus on, very short-sighted and very stupid. Marty did not nearly win the Vezinas that he should have, merely because of idiots. And back to the whoever mentioned it before, I think it was Mafungo, the group groupthink hive mind. The Devils play the trap. They're boring. Brodeur's a product of the defense. And that was the narrative for years and years. And that is why Marty doesn't have way more Vezinas than he does, is because of the idiot, groupthink that Marty was a product of the Devils and the trap. That's why Marty doesn't have the Vezinas. So challenge accepted, SST. I smacked you down. Who's your daddy? And what does he do? I'll be curious if anyone knows that reference. That was... Yo, Snand, putting Luke on power play 1 makes sense because we don't shoot from the point, and Dougie on the second power play unit can get his shot going. Okay. I like to see them both out there, however they want to do it. Queens, New York guy. Devils have all the pieces to win it all. The defense is what's holding us back. Markstrom is having a Vezina season because the defense keeps sleeping and slacking. That's not fair to him. I think you'll see a lot closer to the old defense, or the defense we saw before the holiday break. I think they will reappear at some juncture. Jenna, my favorite player is Mercer. I met him and Seamus Casey at Morris County Card Show in NJ, and I got my jersey and card signed. Best experience ever. That's awesome. I used to love going to signings when I was a kid. What a thrill. What an absolute thrill. John, Dougie's shoulder is gone. His bomb is gone. At least he has a wicked wrister for a D-man. Yeah, I agree. I think the peck is killing him. We rarely see the slapper anymore, but he still has an absolute snipe of a wrist shot. And he's got to start sending him on net more often, in my opinion. Jay Snow, Ace won't wear a jersey, but has 1,000 jerseys. No, I wear a jersey. I wear mostly my Marty. I do have 2 Stevens that I rotate in here and there when I'm feeling like it, but most of the time it's the Marty. I never understood the collection of jerseys. Like, you just have them there to look at. Haha, to each his own. At the moment, yes, but one day it will be a beautiful Hall of Fame-like display. I don't know if you've ever been to the Hall of Fame or any Hall of Fame, but they have tons of gear and stuff used by the guys, and they're in nice little cases, and there's photos and cool stuff. And I do get a very big thrill out of that, especially jerseys that are from big moments and big games, and I have some of those. And so to own a piece of hockey history, a lot of people don't get it, and it's not your thing. I get it. I've always been a collector since I was a kid. And when I became of age to realize that you could, in fact, own these just literal pieces of hockey history, essentially, in the form of either a game-used stick, a helmet, gloves, a jersey, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And my collection addiction kind of began. John Woodson, most free agent signings are overpayments. That's why trades are key. In a lot of cases, I agree with that as well, Woodson. And I think that was the case with Dougie and maybe Meyer by a little bit. But you gotta overpay sometimes to get the guy. And I wouldn't want to lose guys over a couple bucks. And so for a lot of these guys, like, yeah, you gotta pay the premium because there's other teams driving up the price. Other teams offering winning potential. I do think the league has to look at something. This is kind of a side tangent, but I do think the league has to look at something to level the playing field with teams that have no state income tax. It is a massive advantage. I mean, for Barry Trotz to sell Steven Stamkos and Marchessault in the same offseason on Nashville, a huge component of his presentation, I promise you, if not line item number one, at lowest, it was line item number two. It was either we have a great team, we went to the playoffs, we're almost there, you guys could put us over the top, and then we have no state income tax, and you'll save this much money over the course of your deal, or the other way around, opening bullet point, we have no state income tax, keep these millions in your bank account, and then in number two, oh, and by the way, we're pretty damn good, made the playoffs, have some great pieces, you could put us over the top, maybe we could win a cup. But either way, those are points number 1 and 2, and no state income tax is a massive advantage to the teams that have it, and I don't know, it gets exploited. The league has to figure something out because it is not a level playing field in free agency. Jenna, where did you get the pads and how many players have you met and who's your favorite NHL player of all time? And then current fave, geez, and then all-time Devils player. Oh my God. And then current Devils player. Wow, Jenna, let me catch my breath. Let me get a sip of my drink. Woo, coming in hot. I got the pads from another collector that had them. And I had some stuff that they wanted, so it was a bitter, I had to part with some stuff that I didn't want to, but you got to give to get, just like in trades in the NHL, and I got the Marty pads. He wore them in a million games. I have all kinds of crazy photos where you could see the exact marks and stuff. Pretty cool. How many players have I met? Tons, hundreds. I don't know, 100, 200, something, probably a couple hundred. Wow. Yeah, probably over the years, at least a couple hundred. Favorite NHL? Well, my favorite NHL player of all time is obviously going to be a Devil. My favorite player of all time is the great Martin Brodeur. Should come as no shock to anybody. But right there with him, when I became a fan, my three guys were Marty, Scott Stevens, and Dano. And there's tons of guys I love and guys that I would consider amongst my favorites. But those would be like the three that really, when I first got into hockey, really made me a huge fan, and that I really fell in love with. In terms of all-time Devils, but so many great guys over the years. And then current Devils player. It's hard to pick one. I'll give you three. Right now, it's probably... it's hard. I'll give you like a handful. A handful in no particular order. Jacob Markstrom, I'm a big goalie guy. I was a big fan. I liked him before we got him. So Marky's up there. Paul Cotter's a scrappy dog out there. I like him. A warrior, sandpaper guy. Obviously, I love Nason, the resident junkyard dog. Nico. Love Brodeur. I mean, there's so many guys I like, but that would be some of them. I love Brendan Dillon. Michael, I don't want Europeans on my Devils other than Albeline, Oliwa, Breland, etc. Michael is obviously another old school fan. Reminiscing about some of our cup champion foreign imports over the years that we've had. Husky Unchained, Ace, who's your next interview? Who's your top three to get realistically? I mean, I don't know how feasible some of these will be. I do think in time I do have a chance to get all of them at some point. Some are going to be harder than others, and it's going to take a lot of luck and a lot of things to go my way. But my top three are probably the guys I just said. Marty, Scott Stevens, Kenny D, Mr. Devil, Ken Danico. But there's so many guys I would love to talk to. I mean, Jaromir Jagr, Patrick Elias, Scott Niedermayer, guys like Chico, Doc Emmerich. I mean, there's so many. But it's all in due time, guys. My list is big. I probably won't accomplish all of them before I die, but I'm going to get a lot of them. You're going to see interviews with a lot of these guys. Roland, who can Fitzgerald get to replace Tatar? Feels like he is washed now. There'll be a lot of guys out there in the market for bottom 6 players. I'm not too concerned. Michael, Ace, Penn's had 2009 Billy Guerin. We don't have veterans like him. He won 95 with us, and he gave us Arnott. Yeah, I mean, the Penguins always tinkered and brought in great guys. That was a great move for them. They brought in Sikora at some point, obviously another former Devil. They made, who else did they get? They got guys like Gonchar. I mean, they're very good at adding experienced kind of, little tinkerings. I agree we don't have a guy like Guerin, but guys like Guerin are a dying breed, man. I love Billy G. He's on my list. Obviously, would love to talk to Billy G. GM of Team USA for the 4 Nations and the Olympics. Love to see it. A former Devil at the helm of USA Hockey. Yeah, I mean, we got some vets. I'd consider Nason's a vet, Dylan's a vet, Pesci's a vet. Queens, New York, Ace, 99 stars and 2,000 Devils will destroy us today's NHL. Farm systems are way better, and yes, there wasn't a salary cap, but players cared more about defense way more back then. Yeah, obviously, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I feel like a lot of those teams from back then, those loaded Wings teams, those Avs teams, I think they would mop up a lot of these teams. They all had very good goaltending, physicality, a great balance of scoring, reliable defenses. But yeah, what a great era of hockey that was. Wow, Anson Meadows with the win. I forgot about that. I did a who is your or it actually started off with a Hugh's your daddy, and then I went to and what does he do? But for the reference, for those that don't know, Kindergarten Cop, an all-time classic movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, and one of the great lines, one of the many quotable lines from the movie was Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kindergarten teacher and talking to all the little children. He put them in a circle and he said to them, "Who is your daddy and what does he do?" And last thing on this, there was an Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard that my friends and I, when we were younger children, would religiously on summer nights, I'll never forget this, eating junk food, ordering Domino's and shit, playing video games, watching hockey, would prank call people incessantly. You block the number, you prank call them, and then we would just put on speaker. We kind of had a format laid out where we knew where all the buttons were for certain things, and we kind of had a script that we would play with the Arnold soundboard, and we had people rolling. We would get people so good with the Arnold soundboard, man. What a time to be alive. Go Bora. Wasn't Brodeur statistically best season around 2005, 2008? When it was White and Rafalski as the big guys on D, I remember reading about it somewhere. Yeah, Marty had some great seasons. That 06 season, 07. Vezina trophies, some of his best years statistically. Set the single season wins record with 48. I mean, you're dead on there, Go Boro. That was and coincidentally, that's when he won his Vezinas. Was when no one was talking about the trap anymore. To further my point was, how he didn't get the credit because everyone said he was a product of the trap. As soon as that kind of died down in the later years, he started getting his respect and getting those Vezina trophies. Diana, tonight was my best friend's first hockey game. Walking out, she said to me, "I'm officially a Devils fan." And congratulations, Diana. Like the gentleman earlier, you are doing your job. You are recruiting new fans. And that's what you got to do. You got to show other people our beautiful game, and what a game to bring anyone to as their first game. Queens, New York, Ace. I don't know if winning the Vezina is all about wins because Jim Carrey won the Vezina in like '95 with over 20 losses. No. I said don't get it twisted, Queens, New York guy. I didn't say winning the Vezina is all about wins. I said the most important goalie stat is wins. I don't give a shit about the Vezina. It'd be nice to win, and it's a nice thing to talk about. But in the end, I said the most important goalie stat is wins. I stand by that. It was not about the Vezina. They were kind of intertwined. But wins is what matters more than anything. Jay Snow, I mean, you got top end stuff though. You got Marty's freaking. Oh yeah, no. When it comes to collectibles, I have some very top end stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I do. and I'm a very proud custodian of these items. Kyle, do we ever see Quinn and NJ? I think it's a big possibility when he gets to free agency. I think it is something that's going to be discussed. We'll see what happens. If I had to pick, I would say yes. It's just, if you're brothers, how do you not try to make it happen? If I had to pick, I would say yes. Wouldn't be shocked if no, but had to pick one, I'm going to go yes. John Woodson, Brodeur's best save percentage years were later in his career with worse defense. It was wild, but GOATs always defy the odds. Okay. What are all the teams with no state income tax? Both Florida and Nashville, right? Yep. And I thought that Vegas doesn't either. Nevada. And there's probably some others I'm forgetting about, but those are the better teams. Yeah. So Nevada doesn't have it. So you could lure guys to Las Vegas. I mean, how hard is it to lure a guy to Las Vegas as an NHL city? Good weather. There's tons of golf and all the shit that these guys like. Good nightlife, restaurants, pretty much the best of everything. And no state income tax. This is ultimate cheat codes. Go Boro. Cotter feels like a son of the crash line. That's a pretty funny one. Yeah, for sure. For sure. He does seem like a disciple or a son of the crash line. The highest honor you could give a guy like him. Ryan Johnson, I'd love a Marty interview. Yeah, so would I, my friend. So would I. Keep your fingers crossed. Go Boro. I'll be major down for an Ace and Danico interview. I believe that one happens. I don't think that one's too difficult. Just got to get some things in order. Go Boro. That's blasphemy. Crash line is holy. I mean, listen, we're not saying he's in there, but if you got to think of something he's reminiscent of, he could be an honorary member maybe 30 years later. Jason Seville, what a great game. A great overtime victory. Markstrom, another great victory. Check. Great game. Very entertaining. Love to see it end in OT and love to see Marky stand on his head when he had to. Jack, if you could take a bottom sixer from one of the cup teams to plug into the current lineup, who would you take? Let me see. Who would I take from a cup team? Some of these guys might play second line that I have in my head. I mean, this is a completely hypothetical, so. My quick answer, there might be a better fit than the guy I'm going to say, but Tomas Hertl as a third line center, what a beautiful position to be in. And that's the reality for the Vegas Golden Knights. Tomas Hertl as our third line center. Oh God, sign me up. Obviously never going to happen, but that's crazy. Oh man, Kyle with the throwback reference of the night. Eric Jelena for the power play. He had an absolute cannon blast. Cannon blast from Jelena. Plop. What brand hat is that? What is the Y? This is the logo for the Devil's Youth Foundation. So the Y is for youth. Blackatron, the fact that Nason has as many goals as Jack Hughes is pretty damn mind-blowing, dog. Yeah, crazy. Completely crazy. I don't know anyone, who would have believed that going into the season if you said at the halfway point or use the date, whatever metric you wanted to use, through 45 games. that Nason has as many goals as Jack Hughes is pretty wild. Oh, shit. Okay, so I misread. I'm just... So going back to Jack's question, I thought you meant from one of the cup team, the cup contending teams from this season. That's why I said Tomas Hertl, and then I realized afterwards what you meant, Jack. So I gave an answer to a different question, but in a hypothetical world, if I could pluck a bottom six from someone else, another cup kind of favorite team, I would take Hertl. Now you're talking about the Devils Cup teams. Wow. Bottom six from one of the cup teams to plug in. Yeah, I think it would have to be John Madden. I think someone said that later. I think it would have to be, John Woodson said, Madden, bottom six for sure. Madden as our third line center would be beautiful on this team. The days before they used the tie downs on jerseys when players would be fighting without pads, it was gladiator days. Oh, yeah. For sure. A different era. A true tough guy era in NHL history. I mean, some of the enforcers from those days, just complete freaks of nature. John Woodson, Marty was my favorite, but I can see the argument for Hasek and Watt, a three-way tie for me. Obviously, I'm biased here. I'm going Marty number one, but my 2 and 3 would be Hasek and Watt for sure. Good save percentage equals wins. Well, I could also say a save percentage that is unacceptable to you guys because that's the stat that you honed in on Markstrom, and you're complaining that it's bad. So I'm going to say, according to you, a bad save percentage could also equal wins, and Markey has the second most in the league. Suck on that, my friend. Michael, Florida will always be a bad team in my eyes with no fans. Well, they could be a bad team in your eyes, but in reality, they are a very good team. Ted, Ace, Nason is a beast. Celebration drinks. I was at the game. Were you at the game? No, I was not at the game. I was on my couch. I wish I was there. Husky Unchained would love to see an interview with Larry Robinson and his point of view of the 2000 Cup run. Definitely my favorite roster of all time. Oh, Larry's obviously on my list. Husky. We'll see if it happens. He's obviously on my list, as are all the legends and the dignitaries. Jason, no douchebag. Sam Rosen had to mention the Rangers are defending so great. I don't know what that is. Paulie Walnuts. Back in October, my son had one of his friends go to the first Devils game. They got to ride on the Zamboni and meet Luke Hughes. They are Devils fans for life. Nice. Another well-done recruiting trip. That's how you do it. I mean, that one's hard to top. Ride on the Zamboni and meet Luke Hughes. My God. Michael says Pandolfo to play PK. I remember after the St. Louis game with Myers' first hat trick, leaving the arena chanting, "Let's go Devils," and everyone having a woo and joining. For me, that put a Devils tattoo on my heart. Nice. Cherish your first game deeply. It's amazing. I do remember back in the day when Twist killed Peluso. Oh, that was brutal. That was a brutal, brutal fight. I did that one. John Woodson, Brian Ralston, one of the best slappers I could remember. Roley had a cannon. I'll always remember number 14, Brian Ralston. Babyface Brian Ralston on that 95 Cup team. I always liked Roley. And I liked his second stint too as number 12, but Roley will always be 14 to me. Go Boro, always gonna have a quiet respect or maybe a like, if that's not traitorous, for St. Louis for that game, for being chill and good and contributing to it being a good experience. SST says Rempe with an assist on a go-ahead goal. Okay. Where are they? They're obviously out west. Where are they? Where are the Stranges? Oh, man, a 2-1 lead late over the Golden Knights. What these boys are looking for back-to-back wins. I told you guys, don't count the Rangers out. I do think they're going to make the playoffs, and I said it the other night. John Woodson, to win one game, I'd take Wah. If I had to take one after a loss, no one better than Marty. The bounce-back king, the great Martin Brodeur. prided himself on coming back with a vengeance after some of the losses throughout his career. He is the ultimate competitor. The ultimate competitor. I think there's probably a lot of people that would share your one game answer. But I'm going Marty all day, every day. Select a boy, yo, what's going on? Jason, no, I was watching Rangers game. Sam Rosen stroking the Rangers defense. He had to mention how they shut down Jack Hughes the other night. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they're always gonna talk about that stuff. Instagram hockey. Go Boro. Ace, how are you feeling? Got to give you flowers for all these streams and an awesome time. Drop a like for Ace. Yeah, thanks, guys. Smash the like for your boy. Give me a little thumbs up. Oh wow, yes, another marathon. These go by quick, especially after wins. Lose track of the time. Natus, Tony Twist used to crack helmets. He was one of the hardest punchers ever in the game. Yeah, what a beast. What a beast. The Twister. As tough as they come. All right, guys. Gonna start to wrap it up. Not so right away. Appreciate you all coming out on this glorious win. Cheers to all of you. What a win. For your New Jersey Devils. I am going to use the facilities, and I'll be back in about 2 minutes. I wish I had some snacks down here because I'm kind of starving. I kind of had a light dinner, and some snacks would be delicious right about now. But those will have to wait. But yeah, any closing comments, thoughts, questions, suggestions? I'm always open to suggestions. Doesn't mean I'm always going to listen to them, but I always like to hear them. Throw that out there. Any questions, any random questions, whatever it is. And I'll be back in 2 minutes, and we will start winding this down. I've said that before. Maybe I'll end up being on here for a while. It all depends on what is said in the chat between now and when I come back. 2 minutes. I'll be right back. What a win for your New Jersey Devils. Be right back. And we're back. And we are back. Blackatron. Jack had a goal and assist, I think. Yeah, he did. They didn't shut him down. Sam Rose is smoking Fent. I guess he just meant, got the better of him. He coughed it up in OT, and it led to the, that overtime goal, obviously. Paulie Walnuts, taking my kids to see Dawson and Dougie later today at Sports Minded. Yeah, shout out to Sports Minded. They're the best in the game. I've been to a million signings there over the years. Got some great items signed up at that location, including probably at least of several on the wall here. Emily, shout out to Emily who runs Sports Minded over there. Does a great job. She has for years and years, carrying on the tradition of her late father, the legendary Brian. For those that were lucky enough to meet Brian, what a guy. Nicest guy ever. He owned that store forever. And Unfortunately got ill and passed. And now his daughter runs the store, and she does a great job. It is the official home, I would say, of the New Jersey Devils signings, and they do a great job there. Always a great time, and I'm sure you're going to have a great time. Your kids are going to meet Dawson and Dougie. That's awesome. What are you getting signed, Paulie Walnuts? What do the kids want to get signed? I'm curious. I know Rempe and Apple, our bottom 6 sucks. You guys are brutal. SST claiming I'm ignoring him again. Ace again ignoring my message about Hasek and his trophies, but read out everyone else's messages. Well, repost it. I told you the deal. I didn't read out everyone's message. I'm skipping tons. Jay Snow, I can't stay up now. Now I'm in real time because there's not as many comments flying in as before. Jay Snow, I can't stand the Rangers. Steve Val's going to cream his pants after this win. Oh yeah, I can't imagine. I almost want to turn it on to hate watch. Wait, how much time is left? Oh, man, it's a 6-on-4 for the Knights. Ah, shit. Can I pull this up on my phone right now? Hold on. I think I can. Don't ruin it in the chat because you guys are probably ahead of me. We got a little Golden Knights. Oh, man. A 6-on-4 with the empty net. This is interesting. I'm watching this on my phone here. And the Knights have an offensive zone draw. Travis, I want to see the Knights score so bad. Who was your favorite player during the Dark Ages, 2014 to 18? Oof. They're so dark. Oh my God, the Knights are pressing here. Oh my God. The Dark Ages. The Knights are shooting away. The Knights are shooting away. Come on, get something here. The crowd is buzzing. Favorite player during the Dark Ages. I mean, I don't know. I guess by default, you have to go with Zajac just because he's a longtime Devil. But for a single blip of time, the Knights can't do it here. I did love Taylor Hall for his Hart season. I mean, he dragged us. Oh my God, he single-handedly dragged us to the playoffs in that Hart Trophy season. It was an absolutely Herculean effort from Taylor Hall. Michael, Ace, try to get Oliwa on a video. From what I heard, he's still living in NJ. Oh, he's obvious. My list, guys, my list is extensive. Like anyone who's anyone is on the list. Over time, I'm hoping to bring you the stories of all of these guys. There's nothing more than I like than enjoy than trying to get these stories told. I want the fan base to hear the stories that these guys are holding inside of them. And I feel like it is my duty to help extract these stories and bring them to the masses. I feel it is my duty. And so I will accept the challenge and I will try to get these stories to all of you guys from all of these guys you would want to hear stories from. And obviously, Christoph Oliwa being one of them. And there's Shesterkin with the fist pump. Game over. Rangers win. Terrible. Go Boro. SST, Woodson, Ace. If we get this cup, if tailgate party, after everything, y'all should food fight. Oh, boy. Paulie Walnuts, I think Dano and Chico would probably be the easiest ones for you to get an interview with. I probably agree, just due to, proximity and how they are. I think that, makes sense. Jay Snow still hating on the bottom 6. Our bottom 6 has to be the worst in the NHL. SST, I'll buy everyone a drink of their choice if Devils win the cup. No need to fight. Go Boro says, at SST, shall we screenshot this? He says, go ahead. Jay Snow says, I'll buy everyone a drink if our fourth line scores a goal. Oh, man. SST, 94 people in the chat, 94 drinks, even for that full Pinot. Oh, boy. Paulie Walnuts, Dawson, jerseys, and pucks for Dougie. Nice. Very nice. Michael, Cam Jansen was the only good thing during that era. Ace, you saw Detroit, Montreal, and Heaters. How we can't win 4 in a row? We can't. We can't win 4 in a row, but, I'll take 3 out of 4 consistently. John Woodson, Cam Jansen was a prolific goal scorer compared to Big Mac. You guys are terrible. Steve Smith, damn dog, you're still on. Much respect for the grind, giving us great content. Keep it up, man. Yeah, thanks, Steve Smith. Appreciate that. Natus, Miles Wood. Yeah, he's on the, obviously a slightly heavier, edgier, more violent, high energy guy. Very scrappy, very chippy. I always liked Miles Wood. I have a game worn jersey of his as well. he's represented in the museum. Jay Snow, I have no idea why they gave Big Mac a 3-year deal. It's Rempe pest control and just security. For the next 3 years, you know that if you decide, you always have the biggest sheriff in the game on your roster if you want and in the game. Woodson's 3 years is insane, but Fitz hands out that extra year on all contracts just because he can. SST, one of my faves. I think he's talking about Miles Wood. Woodson, Woody always got hurt. Yeah, difficult for him to stay in the lineup a lot. And then the Avalanche paid him. Yeah, imagine Miles Wood on this team. Miles Wood on this team would be a godsend. I would love Miles Wood on this current team. It would be nice. Miles Wood on this current New Jersey Devils roster would be really, really nice. But, you know, it is what it is. Not everyone sticks around forever. And maybe all the Woods win a cup in Colorado. Wedgwood, Blackwood, and Miles Wood. Anti-softness measure. Michael says, I guess this was a SST loves Wood. Jay Snow, no more 3 out of 4. I want a damn 4-game winner. It shouldn't be that difficult. They've had so many chances too. 4 alone this season. 4 alone this season. And I hope we see it, obviously. But it's not really a true indicator of anything. They could potentially not go on a 4-game winning streak at all this season and win the cup. And that's all I care about. SST, Wood would now be the fastest player on the Devils. I don't think so. I don't think he'd be faster than either Hughes. I don't know. LJ, they just announced Rags have won 2 in a row for the first time since November. The Doomers on their live streams are the hosts. Jason, no, you don't need Rempe insurance. That's sad to even say. No, you kind of do, man. I mean, everyone has short memories. Do you not remember him battering our team last year? He literally knocked Bastian down, bloodied him, knocked him out of the game. Then he dummied Siegenthaler. Then we eventually got McDermott. And then the next game, he chicken wing elbowed, knocked Siegenthaler out. And so, unfortunately, you do. You do need to have some sort of insurance policy because last year was very ugly and it was very demoralizing, I think, to the fan base and the team itself that you had this guy running around wild, just knocking people out of games. I mean, you know, that aggression cannot stand. There's got to be some sort of deterrent, and there's no bigger deterrent than Curtis McDermott, the toughest man in the National. Anyone have anything else? It's getting slow in there. I'll give it another couple seconds. Wood did F up who back in the days? Visor was all bloody. Whose visor was that? Go Boro says, I think everyone's cooked, Ace. Michael. Jason, no, what are you smoking? Of course you need an enforcer. Yeah, obviously. I mean, you definitely need an enforcer, and you need a guy that teams are scared of. We got physically battered last year. It was not fun. It was not pretty. It was quite frankly, I'll be honest, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing at times how soft they played and the lack of appropriate responses. To some of those instances. He said everyone dummies Bastian. I mean, Lomberg really took care of him and broke his jaw. I mean, that was bad. Suster Tampa. Okay. When was that, this year or when he was on the Devils? Ryan, the Rangers took advantage of Holt's line on the ice. Go Boro. Also not just Rempe. Good to have something to put the cat amongst the pigeons of a softness invasion. Jay Snow, an enforcer who can play hockey. Olivier is making $1 million and fight anyone. Yeah, but we can't get him. I mean, they're not trading him, I don't think. Anson Meadows, we appreciate your work, broski. Thank you, Anson. And Kenny chip in on offense? I'm not counting on him to chip in on offense. I'm counting him to chip in on breaking people's faces when the time comes for it. And I would have liked to see him fight Rempe the other day. I think we're going to have to wait till April 5th. And that could be a massive one. At the Rock, Devils Rangers could have massive playoff implications for both teams. The Rangers probably more than likely trying to get in that wild card spot. And the Devils maybe trying to, hopefully win a division, but if not, claim a higher seed. We shall see how it all plays out down the stretch. Ace, what did you think of PK Subban? He was obviously a shell of his former self when he was here. With that being said, I always liked him. It was exciting to see him here. He played on bad teams, obviously. I do think he helped mentor some of the guys to some extent, and he still remains a huge cheerleader for the Devils kind of in the world of hockey, and so I like that as well. Yeah, I liked PK. He just wasn't near the player he was in his Montreal days, and he was on some bad teams. It is what it is. It was cool to see him play as a Devil. Yeah, it was just unfortunate timing. It would have been great to see him on a true competitor, but that wasn't the case. Steve Smith, Lomberg came at Bastian like, oh boy. Yeah, it looked like it was like a personal vendetta attack. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm doing this for my job. It was like he actually wanted Bastian injured. Michael PK can okay. Jason, no, that fight was pathetic. Lomberg is like 5'8", Bastian 6'4". Wouldn't PK Subban had a beef when they played for Jersey? I don't remember that. Ryan, I'm expecting fights on Tuesday against the Panthers. We haven't had a tilt in a while, and the Panthers are going to lay hits from losing twice on home ice. Yeah, I can see that. They're a heavier, edgier, more violent group. Defending Cup champs. Play a very gritty playoff game. And it wouldn't surprise me to see a fight. Oh yeah, they have that guy Bagovich or whatever that Dylan fought in that crazy battle. Oh my god, what a fight that was. That was crazy. Gadjevich. Yeah, Dylan and Gadjevich was one for the ages. A barn burner. A barn burner. What did I do here? I hit something.
Now taxes?
Would love to see another one. Would love to see McDermott fight him, actually. Big Mac hasn't done anything lately. Even his fights this year weren't great. I mean, he's had so few. Between the lack of him playing a lot and the lack of just fighting overall in general in the league and the lack of people not wanting to get their ass kicked by him. Yeah, he's only had like 3 or 4 fights this year. But he hasn't played a lot. I would like to see him in more games, especially these ones I think are going to be physical. I mean, we have 3 Flyers games coming up in the span of a week and a half later in the month. There's going to be some games where I'd like to see Mac out there. And again, I always say when everyone's like, oh, what can he do? And he sucks and he can't do anything offensively. Not only could he throw the body, he did generate a couple chances in that Ranger game, but he makes the other team scared. They played scared. I told you in that Ducks game, I'll never forget it. He was like in a foot race and he was trailing the defender. There was a puck in the corner. There was a defenseman that had a step or two on him. They both started going to the corner. And the guy just let up and let McDermott take the puck because he knew he was going to get smashed. Things like that matter. Obviously, if they want to have a little bout and they want to engage in some fisticuffs, he's there to happily do that as well. You guys can't hear me? The sound is out? I don't see anything on my end to indicate that. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I don't know why someone said they couldn't hear me. I got PTSD. But hopefully we see, more chances for him to do his thing and just make the other team play scared. I think that really matters. Paulie Walnuts, don't know if you want to remember that shit show Habs game. Me and my son met you in the. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, yeah, obviously I remember that. Yeah, I think it was right when I was about to stuff my face with multiple ice creams. That Dylan fight against Florida was crazy. Yeah, great one. Great one. They were chucking him. SST Subban is now NHL analyst with that piece of crap Messier on ESPN, I guess. Jack. Earlier I meant if you could pick a bottom sixer from one of the Devils Cup teams. Yeah, I figured that out after the fact. To add to the current team, who would you pick? Definitely John Madden, for sure. Johnny Madden, third line center, would be a gem on this team. Markey versus Katz, or you think NHLPA puts a stop to his 5th in a row? I mean, guys, you don't even have to ask me who I'm putting out there. I'm 1,000% putting out Markey. Now, will the sports science and the analytics team, will they allow Markstrom to play again? It's tough. Let me just see the way this schedule actually falls. So you're talking, 14th is the Panthers at home. 16th is Toronto on the road. Then 18th is the Flyers at home. I mean, this will never happen. This would never happen. But if it was up to me, I literally would start Markey in the next 2. I would start Markey at home against Florida. I would start him again on a full day's rest Thursday in Toronto. And then I would start Jake Allen on Thursday the 18th versus the Flyers because it's a back-to-back. Allen has to get one of those. So don't give it to him before, because if that happens, I'll be furious. I'll tell you this. Yeah, because of the back-to-back on the 18th and 19th at home, with Flyers and Sens, both afternoon games, Saturday, Sunday, this upcoming weekend, if we see Allen play 2 of these next 4 games, I'm going to be livid. He should only play 1 of the back-to-backs. And I think I would do, yeah, if it was up to me, I'd do exactly what I just said. Tuesday at home against the Panthers, I go Markey. Thursday in Toronto, I go Markey again. Saturday at home, I go Jake Allen, and then I go back to Markey on Sunday the 19th. But I could see Jake Allen maybe playing 2 of them, and I'll be furious. McDermott versus Reeves could be coming. That would be interesting. I think it's their way of pranking you, maybe. No, Kevin's phone just messed up. My bad, yeah. User error. I was like, what? Ace, Dylan versus McDermott in a fight. Who wins? I think McDermott. He's a super heavyweight. Dylan's a heavyweight too, but when's the last time Allen won a game? Long time ago. A real long time ago. Ace, what do you think of Nason so far? Come on, Ted. What kind of questions are these? What do I think of Nason so far? The junkyard dog, Stefan Nason, overperforming his contract more than anyone else in the NHL at this very moment, I have to say. He has to be outperforming his deal by the largest margin of anyone in the league. Absolutely love Stefan Nason. Love the move by Keefe to call the timeout there, go with 4 forwards, making Nason the 4th one, putting him in his office right in front. And he immediately was tipping pucks on Vasilevsky moments before he cleaned up that loose kind of puck that Jack, tried to pass there, and it was kind of flubbing around. He just turned around and whacked it right up top. Stefan Nason, man, what a dog. The absolute junkyard dog of them all. And he's been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. One of the best deals in the league contract-wise. Jack McCabe, no Jake Allen, not a knock on him, but Markstrom's playing electric. He's been on a roll since he's getting the consecutive starts. Yeah, I've been calling for this all season, essentially. I've been saying just let him run with the net and let him get hot, let him get in a groove. From everything I know about watching this beautiful game for 30 years, that goalies are very kind of streaky creatures, and they like to play a lot. And Markstrom is no different. He's a very big throwback in that way. He wants to play every game. I mentioned in one of the the previous I mentioned on a previous live that the great Martin Brodeur was on the Cam and Strick podcast. One of my favorites, Cam Jansen and Strick. And one of the topics, I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but they did talk about kind of the state of current goaltending and about Markstrom specifically. And I put the link in the chat there. The only thing I'm going to say is that Marty specifically says that Jacob Markstrom wants to play every game. And that's what I want out of my goalie. You could see the guy's fired up. He's a competitor. He wants to win. He loves winning. He hates losing. He wants to win every game. He gets fired up when they lose or on bad plays.
Welcome back, Devils fans.
He gets pissed off, and that's the kind of guy I want. He wants to play every game. Jacob Markstrom. But check out that interview with Marty on Cam and Strick. It's pretty cool. I just threw the link in the chat. It hurts to see what Blackwood is doing in the hated Avs. Yeah, it was inevitable. I told a lot of people if he ever gets on a contender, I think he has a chance of really doing something. And he's been lights out for the Avs so far. And I do think at some point in his career, he wins a cup with them. Jack McCabe, don't really want to see Allen until there's a back-to-back. I know that's kind of unrealistic, but if a goalie is hot, he's hot, and you can't screw them over. Well, there's a back-to-back next weekend. So if they're willing to continue to play Markey until then, they only have the 2 games until our next back-to-back. We have Tuesday. So Markey would have 2 full days of rest here. Sunday rest, Monday rest, Tuesday back at the Rock against the Panthers. I'd play Markey. Wednesday's an off day. Thursday in Toronto. I play Markey both of those. And then Saturday at home against the Flyers, I give Jake Allen that one, and I give Markey the Senators on the 19th. There's 2 games before the back-to-back. If Jake Allen plays 2 of the next 4, I will be furious. Mark my words. Markstrom must play 3 of the next 4. Jake McCabe, I'd give Allen a game against a true bottom feeder if that opportunity arises, but other than those scenarios, kind of want Markstrom in net. You got to be realistic. I'm playing him all the time. But sports science, baby. The tandem goalies, baby. Markey's going to be on the bench sooner or later, and it's going to be one of those back-to-backs for sure, if not sooner. I hope not sooner. Jay Snow, I don't want to see him either, but I don't want to burn out Markey. We're going to need him down the stretch. Jake says, totally agree. Need to be cautious deploying the goalies because there's pros and cons both scenarios. Yeah, but when you got a guy like Markey playing the way he is, just reward the man. Reward that man. Reward him. Give him the net. Go Borough. Do we see Dawes again this season? I don't think so. I don't think so. Barring injury, if there's no injuries, I don't think we see Dawes again, if I'm being honest. Jay Snow, I hate that we lost the Rangers, but at least we got that point. Yeah, 1 point is incrementally better than 0, but that's a game you want to win. That was there for the taking. Jack McCabe, I'm going to be in Toronto on Thursday, and I better see Jacob get Markstrom in net. Oh man, lucky you. You're going to see the game Thursday live. That's pretty sweet. Do you live near there, Jack? John Woodson, Dawes, and Poulter have been horrible in Utica. I mean, in their defense, hasn't Utica been a terrible team? They started off like something crazy, 0-11, and then I think they had a winning streak. But my God, what a brutal start to the season for them. Essentially, removing themselves from playoff dreams in October. It's pretty wild. Someone agrees with me. I think that was a typo. Go Borough. Wait, just a tired thought. Save percentage is all cool, but does it factor in quality of the saves? No, it absolutely does not. So 10 breakaways is the same as, which is going to lead me to an advanced analytic that I don't really feel like talking about right now, but I probably will. So save percentage is all cool, but it's a factor in quality of saves. No, so 10 floaters from the blue line is the same as 10 breakaways, which is why they now have, amongst the many advanced analytics, is goals save above expected. And Jacob Markstrom is very good in that category. Currently in 8th in the league in goals saved above expected, and he's at a 12.6. Oh my God, Hellebuck number 1 at 25.7. Logan Thompson at 17.8, and number 2, Mackenzie Blackwood third at 15.6. Lucas Dostal, who got the better of us about a week ago in Anaheim, at 15. I don't even know how to say this guy's name on Utah. Vemlica? I don't know. Philip Gustafson, 13.9. John Gibson, 13.9. And then Jacob Markstrom, 12.6. But that factors in the difficulty of the saves, even though that's officially a flawed stat as well, because I believe after the Kraken game, they only claimed that Jacob Markstrom saved like 0.5 goals above expected or something. So it is what it is. A flawed stat, but it tries to account for the difficulty of the saves versus save percentage, to answer your question there, Go Boro. Jack McCabe, no, I'm taking a long road trip. Never been to Canada, so I'm going to enjoy the ride in the city. Going to the Hockey Hall of Fame, too. Looking forward to it. I'm in North Jersey. Nice. Yeah, I've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame once when I was a kid, and then I was there most recently. Damn, I guess that was already 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, was it? When did Marty go in? Was that 18? Yeah, it must have been 18. So 6 years ago, 7 years ago. No, more like 6 years ago. When the great Martin Brodeur was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, I went for that whole weekend. It was pretty cool. Went to the Hockey Hall of Fame game, which was obviously Devils versus the Maple Leafs. I was able to see the alumni game, the little all-star alumni game where a bunch of old-timers and Hall of Famers play against each other. Marty was supposed to play goalie. I think he played for a few minutes, and then he pretended he got hurt. And then his son Anthony played the majority of the game in his place in the net. Go Boro, easy to have high save percentage if you get peppered with garbage. That is true. Jay Snow, Nemitz starting to put up points in Utica. Well, hope so. Michael Ace, do you remember that Leafs series, the famous Game 6, and they only got 6 shots on Marty? Yep, I was there. What a great elimination game. Man, they had no answer. Really was a beautiful display. 6 shots on goal. Officially, man, do you think the Devils can win again versus Florida and sweep how they won 2 times? Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely think they could win this last one and complete the sweep for sure, especially if Markey starts. Jay Snow, we got to beat Toronto. We haven't beaten them yet this year. Yeah, I think that's going to be one that for whatever reason we've struggled with. They ruined our home opener. We played them again and lost, and we got to get one for General Keefe, which is why I hope. And now, especially going back to Toronto, I really, really hope that he pushes for Markstrom to start that game. In a game he's going to want to win more than anything, especially after we've already lost to them. Getting Markey in that one, I really don't want to see Allen in that one. I really don't. Or the next one. Markstrom's just playing that good as of late that you have to reward these starts. How do you tell this man he has to rest? I don't think it's right. I think you must give him the net in these big games. Yeah, and Sheldon Keefe's return to Toronto, it's going to be such a story. The Keefe return against his old club. Sheldon Keefe comes back to Toronto to coach against his former team. Yeah, Markstrom better be in that one. Ryan Johnson says, yo, Jack, I'm there too. I guess you're talking about the game. Toronto's going to be a madhouse, the return of Keefe. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. A lot of media. It's going to be a circus. If they could beat them in Toronto, it would make up for the 2 previous stinkers against the Leafs. I don't know about that, but it would definitely go on. It's a step in the right direction. I want to thrash Toronto, even if we use all the goals from Philly and Ottawa games. This one's got blood. Yeah, it is. And that would be an interesting Eastern Conference final, too. Imagine that. A Devils Maple. First of all, the Maple Leafs getting to the Eastern Conference finals against anybody would be like the biggest story in Canada history, or at least for a very long time. And then the whole Keefe plot lines and the core 4 versus the core 4, it'd be wild. Officially, man, do you think the Devils are still cup contenders or playoffs contenders? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I am unmoved. My opinion has not changed. I believe in this team. I believe they could go far. I believe they could win a cup. Mm-hmm. I believe in them just like I have since the summer. The New York nobody, Rempe, got an assist tonight. I did hear about that. Jay Snow, Toronto looks really good this year. Yeah. Again, what are they going to do when the playoffs come? We'll find out. They can't blame it on Keefe anymore. So who's going to be the scapegoat this time? Who's going to be the one they place the blame on for Toronto's struggles this time around? Because they're going to have to blame somebody, right? It's, they're not going to just, if they flame out in the playoffs again, they're not going to say, oh, Austin Matthews sucks. They're going to have to, put the blame on somebody. Where is it going to go? Because it can't go to Sheldon Keefe anymore. Keefe's not there. Are they going to drag Berube through the mud? But who knows? Maybe he does get them, to a conference finals. A Devils-Leafs conference finals would be wild. Man, and it would suck because I'd want to go to a game there for sure. And the tickets for a Toronto Eastern Conference final, that would be ugly. Massive, massive tickets. Those softies Markstrom let up would cost him Vezina. No, it's just that every goalie gives up some softies, but Hellebuck's numbers are just insane. Jay Snow, I don't think they can win a cup with this roster as is. I think they could. With that being said, would I feel better and believe they're in better position if they improve the bottom six? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. But I can never rule even this group out. And by this group, I'm still counting, guys from Utica or guys that are in the organization to make up a different fourth line. But you would like to see us get I really would love to get a middle six type guy. It would be interesting. The New York nobody, are you a NYR fan? Sorry if dumb to ask. SST says the save percentage will be over 920 now. Leafs goalies are a question mark for me. And again, that's why you want to have a guy like Markey in the playoffs versus a question mark, right? I mean, questionable goaltending is not what you want your squad to have. If you're not all in on your starting goalie for the playoffs, I would say that that's a cause for concern and problematic. And who knows, maybe goaltending will be a weakness for the Leafs, or maybe it won't. But Devils Leafs Eastern Conference Final, man, that would be crazy. Jay Snow can't get a cup running two lines. Well, they're not running two lines. It's just two lines that are producing at the moment. But the third line had some points recently. Mercer, Dowling, and Cotter have gotten on the board. Go Boro, especially when Tavares Manor are on contract years too, which is their shot to really go for it. If they don't do it, their core will never get it done. I mean, you would think that this is a big year for that core. And assuming they continue to play the way they have been, you'd imagine that they're going to try to make some sort of improvement at the deadline as well. Not sure what their cap situation is. It can't be too good. They're probably they're pretty strapped like us, I believe. But what types of moves are they going to look to solidify that playoff roster before heading into the playoffs? I'm sure they're going to look for something. They're definitely in win now mode, right? So, Jay Snow, yeah, right. Good luck getting a ticket in Toronto. Oh, it's not hard to get a ticket anywhere, Jay Snow. If you're willing to pay the price, it's never been easier to get tickets for anything. But the price tag would be wild. Go Boro, just need Dylan to wind up Max Domi and shove him around, and the circle of life is complete. Hopefully Max doesn't respond by injuring Luke. The New York nobody. Yeah, I'm a diehard Rangers fan, but I really like this channel. Homie runs a well-oiled machine. I'm a hockey fan first, Rangers fan second. Really appreciate that, New York nobody. I did pull up the closing minutes of the contest where the Golden Knights had that 6-on-4 to close that out, and they couldn't do it. I saw the Shesterkin little blocker pump. I saw like the last minute and a half on there when I realized it would be an interesting finish. And they held their ground. What a win for the Rangers. I mean, how are you feeling, New York nobody? Not to completely derail this whole thing, but coming off a big overtime win against the Devils at the Garden and then going to Vegas and beating the Golden Knights, one of the best teams in the whole league. If not, let me see, by points percentage, they actually might be. Oh, my God, they are points percentage the best team in the whole league. Wow. Yeah. Beat the Devils, their arch rival in OT, and then go to Vegas and win. You got to be feeling pretty good, New York nobody, right? I mean, do you think you make the playoffs? I said in my last live stream that I thought the Rangers were going to make the playoffs. Jay Snow, when will they try guys from Utica? I assume they'll try those guys before trade. You would think so. But it seems like I don't think Dowling's going anywhere unless we make a trade. They love Dowling. They put him at third line center. So for me, it's I would like to see a game where they leave Laser Lazar on the fourth line and scratch Tatar and Bastion for a game, and let's see, Hallinan and Legary or something like that. I would love to see it. Give it a game. Officially, man, I hope the Devils can make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, just the second round, and the Devils make it to the playoffs. They got to make it. They got to make it past where they did most recently, which was that second round ouster against the Canes. Got to get to the conference finals. Jack McCabe, it's a shame last year's defense and goaltending was so bad. The forward group was really good. The opening night fourth line last year of Nasik, McLeod, Lazard would be so good on this team. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I hate to beat a dead horse, but the loss of McLeod for nothing is just how painful. How lovely would it be to have McLeod on this team right now? It would be unbelievable. Michael says at the New York Nobody, I'm going to keep my eyes on you. Go Boro at New York Nobody. That's cool. Also, thanks for being civil in the chat. Who's your favorite current and all time? New York Nobody. Cooley is my current favorite. Zuccarello was my favorite all time. Interesting. Then I have to ask if Zuccarello was your favorite all time. New York Nobody. When did you become a fan? I must know. SST. New York Nobody is lucky Pino Jr. is having dreams right now. Ryan Johnson, you'd be at 1K a piece minimum. I'm assuming you're talking about the Devils Leafs Eastern Conference Finals tickets. I'd have to believe you're correct. And I could see it being, could it be more than that for a conference final against the Devils? What would be the most expensive? I guess if it was, this is, I don't even know if this is possible now because of the brackets, but hypothetically, I guess in a world where the brackets were different or the seeding, however they did the playoff matchups, I guess the most expensive pre-cup ticket for the Leafs would have to be a Maple Leafs Canadiens Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, Leafs Canadiens Eastern Conference Final would be the most expensive ticket before a cup final. And then I guess the second most expensive Eastern Conference Final ticket would be, I guess, Toronto Boston would be the second. But any conference final ticket is going to be a fortune. But I think, Canadians would be the highest it could be. And then I think Bruins would be second. The New York Nobody liked his last win better. Yeah, I bet you did. Officially, man, Devils GM needs to do big trades when it's the deadline. I don't think you're going to get big trades. But hopefully we get something meaningful. Travis Walker, rather not have McLeod. Yuck. I'm talking about the player. I'm not talking about all the other nonsense. I'm just talking about McLeod as a player. You cannot deny that he was very good. 2012-ish. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. The New York Nobody. Were you a fan during the playoffs when the New Jersey Devils eliminated them in that beautiful game at the Prudential Center? Henrique, it's over. Jason McLeod was such a sick player. He's a monster in the dot. Had that insane motor. Guys like that are hard to find. Yeah. He had a play last year. It was insane. On the same play, I think he flew across the ice. He absolutely crushed a guy, then flew up the ice and got a pass from whoever brought it up. I forget who, and then did a crazy, like, spinorama finish, I think. I'm going to see if I could find the play. It was one of the best plays of the season. How's Zibanejad doing, that long-haired goofball? Go Boro. New York Rangers Leafs would be an insane. Oh, yeah, that too. How could I forget about that? Yeah, at least if you want to go more than one, that one's up there too. All would be more expensive than Devils, but like I said, any Eastern Conference final in Toronto would be a fortune. But yeah, versus Montreal, Boston, or New York would be extra juicy. Should Devils try to get Kadri? That's an interesting one. I think he makes a shitload of money though. Let me see how bad is. Let me see. Is Calgary's still in the mix? Yeah, Calgary's right there. I can't see them trading him. In a hypothetical, I'll just continue to play on in the hypothetical world. He makes $7 million a year, and he just signed it. Or he didn't just sign it, actually. He's in his. Wow, time goes by so fast. I say it all the time. But he's in his 3rd year, so it's he has this year and then 1, 2, 3, 4 more. It's a lot of money. Yeah, I can't even waste brain cells on this. It's not going to happen. But in a hypothetical world, I'd like Kadri, not at $7 million. Jace, no, that play was McLeod against the Caps. I know what player you're talking about. Yeah, I did. I freaked out when it happened. I think it was very early on when I was doing videos, like talking in videos, like doing game recaps, because I wasn't doing them consistently. And I vaguely remember talking about it on a video, but I remember putting the video in. I think I could be mistaken, but I remember the play vividly. It was sick. What an individual effort from McLeod, and we miss plays like that. Obviously, on a lot of nights, we could use a huge momentum swing. SST says Dean Evison is a no nonsense coach we needed. I'm very happy with General Keefe. Nicholas, great win. Markstrom really looked legit. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Jason, I'm almost positive it was the Caps game. Check it out, Ace. I'm gonna have to dig. I probably have the file on my computer somewhere, but I'm not gonna do it while I'm on here. It's just I'd be too it'd take too long. But I think that sounds like it could be right. Nicholas says our bottom 6 definitely isn't great. It's definitely not. Kadri, too much money for too long. I agree. Kadri said he doesn't want to be there if Calgary decides to go into rebuild. Well, then maybe they'll find someone else somewhere else to ship him off. Kadri is good in playoffs. Avs should have never let him go. Yeah, when teams win a cup, in the cap world, you can't keep everybody. New York, nobody. Markey has been a god. That was the best move the Devils made in a long time last year. Hack calling out the goalies. He can't do that this year. No. Jack. No, I love the Markey move. When the rumors first came up last year, when it didn't happen, I wanted Markey badly. It didn't pan out. They pissed off Markstrom because it became a media thing, and they went to him and asked him to move to waive his no trade to go to the Devils, and he agreed. So I think he was already mentally in New Jersey, and then it all fell apart, and they were trying to get greedy, and the whole thing fell apart. And then it finally got done in the summer, and I was ecstatic, and it's worked out better than I could have hoped. Ace, can we get rid of Plot and we can get Kadri? It's not that simple. It's not that simple at all, man. If it was, we would do it, but the Palat situation is not an easy one to rid yourself of. Jay Snow says, I heard Ryan Donato's name mentioned. I've heard that too. There's a lot of people just throwing all kinds of names out there. Even if we could look at 4th line players or like on bottom feeders out of the playoffs. Well, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be who emerges as sellers. And then we can try to raid their roster. Go Boro. I heard Brandon Tanev of Seattle would be a good target for us. A lot of people have been throwing him around as well. Yeah, Seattle obviously not having a good year. Select the boys. See you guys later. Let's go Devils. Take care. Jason, I like Tanev. He plays hard, but not a big guy. I just want a big physical guy. It's just Jack McCabe. I follow the Blues, and they have a few excess bottom sixers that may be available. First that comes to mind are Radek, Faxa, and Matthew Joseph. Okay. Go Boro. Last thing on him, but I realized Kadri looks like Agent Stone in the Sonic movies. I don't know who that is. Jay Snow, we're going to have enough money to make moves. Or one more substantial one, or substantial by most people's measure. Not going to be a lot of money to make moves. Nicholas, why is Palat party Palat when he scores at home? Did I say that, or did someone else say party Palat? We got 7.5 million right now. Is that true? I just saw the other day and it was 5.8. Are we accruing more because of Halla? The thing I'm looking at on Puckpedia says deadline cap space 5.7. Where are you getting 7.5? Did you just pull a dyslexic moment and type it backwards? Brandon Tanev's pictures would be great for us. I would love Coleman here. He's literally Nason 2.0. He makes a good amount of money too, though. I wouldn't be against Coleman, I suppose. Ace, Devils have always made fair good trades with Calgary back in the day. Calgary give us Kadri and we'll go far in the playoffs. Yeah, but you have to make room for him to fit on the salary cap. What are you giving them for him? And it's a commitment. I don't think they're going to – he has so much time left on his deal. They're not going to retain, and we cannot afford to pay Kadri $7 million. I hate to say it. I would have loved him at a much cheaper price. $7 million is an overpayment. We cannot inherit the overpayment that Calgary gave him coming off that cup win. Avalanche won. He cashed in big time. We cannot hold the bag on that. $7 million is not worth it. Insane Pollock, Ace, had Markstrom come here last year, could we have passed the Caps to get that last wild card spot? I'm going to say yes, depending on when. But at the deadline, it may have been too late. Maybe not. If we got him a little sooner, potentially, I do think we could have squeaked into the playoffs. Now, with all the other holes on the roster, I do not think the team would have done much. But I want to put the team in a position to surprise people. And so for me, I've always said this, I much prefer making the playoffs than not. And who knows, once you get in, funnier things have happened. Anything can happen. I don't think they would have went far. The defense was pretty bad. We had some other issues and stuff with the injuries. You know, Jack shut it down before the season. So, you know, how much would he have, if we were in the playoffs, I guess he still would have played, but he would have been nursing an injury. So in the end, you know, we likely would not have went far, but do I believe Markey, if we gave him enough time and got him last season, could he have got us there? Definitely. It definitely could have happened. Aaron, go get Nelson. Again, we talked about this earlier. I don't think Nelson is realistic. I do not think Nelson is realistic. Go Boro. Hey, Ace, did you ever get your picture taken by the machine in the Rock that put your face in the player's jersey with a physical card? I did not. Jack McCabe, I want to see a guy that's a right shot and or could take faceoffs. This team needs a guy you can count on to win a big draw outside of Heischer. Yeah, that would be nice. On Puckpedia, I see 5.7. I don't know where you saw 7.5. I think you may have typed it backwards. When he scores, the animation on the screen is party plot. I think it was just they thought it was something clever to say, honestly. Kadri to NJ. With a little retention, 5.7 I think is enough for Patrick Kane. Listen, I'd like Patrick Kane, but I think you could find something that fits our needs better, if I'm being honest. Jason, no, it's back to 5.5 because Hataka is day-to-day now. Jason, no, they must have added him to the roster because he's been practicing again. Interesting. Ace, we could drop easy that salary cap. I don't care about 2029. We need to win now. I'm a win now guy. Ryan Johnson, the Blue Jackets a wagon. What's going on over there? They've crawled their way into the second wild card spot. Let me see. Is this refreshed? Yep. Rangers still remain 4 points out. Let's see. What have the Blue Jackets done lately? Yeah, wow. 4 in a row. 6-4 over Blues, 4-3 in the shootout over the Pens, 6-2 over the Kraken, 2-1 over the Blues. A little 4 game in a row. When D-Simone got claimed, it was 7.5, so it must go by a roster move. Okay. Blue Jackets are on a fairy tale run, and to be honest, wish them all the best after everything they've been through. Yeah, I mean, terrible story with Johnny Gaudreau, obviously. Just terrible. Jason, no, isn't Montreal in a playoff spot? No, they just got bumped out temporarily by the Jackets. Canadians now 2 points behind the Jackets for that second wild card spot. Kadri would be the perfect middle six guy, Ace. I agree, but $7 million, man. That's committing some long-term assets. I don't know that I would want to allocate $7 million to Kadri. I think you could spend that money better elsewhere. Montreal contending for playoffs. Line has been an absolute weapon for them. Yeah, I would have gambled on Line. I said that in the summer. If I talked to him and thought he was not a complete nut job, I would have taken a gamble on him for sure. It's not just the points. The Rangers are jumping teams. Would they jump one maybe? Or I don't even know. They're showing in 7th in the wild card. So who did they really jump? I mean, they still got, I guess they jumped the Islanders and Flyers. Before tonight, were they in 9th place? Maybe they just jump the Islanders and Flyers. Some bad teams at the bottom. Are the Rangers back? I don't know if they're back, but I think they're on their way to healing their season and making the playoffs. Kevin Kirk, what's our record to finish the month? Let me see. I'll make a video on that. Next 2 days. January, finishing up the month video. Line looked to be absolutely thumped this time last year. What a turnaround. And sometimes a change of scenery revitalizes guys. I've been saying this forever as well. Kadrick instead, NJ, great player, but what's a trade package? Plus that contract is yikes. Yeah, I'm on board. I'm on board with exactly that, Ryan. Huberdeau's apparently turned things around too. Insane Pollock, we have a game coming up against the Habs next week. Carson, the Canes fan, says, no, you guys didn't have to win. Yes, we did. Courtesy of Jacob Markstrom. Officially, man, the Devils need to stay in second or try and make back to the first in the division standings. As far as I'm concerned, the Devils are still in 3rd place in the division because they're 622 points percentage and the Canes are 628. Despite having 2 more points than the Canes, they have a better points percentage. And so with all these extra games we've played, I'm always going to look at the points percentage over anything. Ryan O'Reilly would be a tremendous addition if they can make that work. Cap hit isn't totally unreasonable. Always liked Ryan O'Reilly. That could be an interesting one. Go Brodeur with Ovechkin turning things around. Line A, Calgary, Washington in general. Maybe Keefe's next move is to pick up the forbidden phone and call Kovalchuk. I joke. Oh, man. The Covey era. That Dobes is for Montreal's 3-0. He looks good. Totally gave him a shot in the arm. I didn't get to watch. Did Markstrom bail him out? I don't know if he bailed him out, but he kept him in the game. He definitely was a huge factor in the win. All right, I'm delirious, guys. This might be a new record or close to it. I'm absolutely delirious. Your New Jersey Devils bouncing back at home after that painful overtime loss to the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. Find a way to win. Courtesy of a 4-forward overtime power play. And Stefan Nason, the junkyard dog, gets it done. Your New Jersey Devils win by a score of 3-2. Looking to bring the vibes back to the Rock on Tuesday night against the Panthers. What a win. What a game. Markstrom for president. Markstrom for Vezina. For the longer time fans, if you haven't checked it out, I've been talking about it relentlessly, and I probably will at least for another week or so. Just dropped the link in the chat for my interview with Jamie Langenbrunner. Got to sit down and talk to Jamie, New Jersey Devils legend. It was awesome and an honor for me to talk to him. Talked a lot about the glory days. That interview is now live on the channel. I just dropped a description in the chat. It'll be in the description as well. And what a win. Doomer's going to doom. Normal people are going to be normal. Your New Jersey Devils win 3-2. What a beautiful night. Thank you all for coming out. It's been a blast. Please hit that like on the way out. Just hit the thumbs up. It takes 2 seconds. Just hit the thumbs up. I don't know how we're doing with that, but no one's reminded me in a while, and I always remember on the way out because I always finish with the patented like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.